start you. Yeah. Let's start YouTube. Yeah. How's it going? I don't know if I should do like the announce ahead of time thing. I don't think that's a good idea with the YouTube streams, but I mean, I guess that's what people do. But announcing ahead of time is like, I don't know, what if I miss that day or... And then it ends up being kind of like a thumbnail cancer on people's feeds. I don't like that. There's a couple channels that I watch have started to do live streaming, and as they do so, they're using that preview ahead feature that puts it in the timeline, puts the live stream in the timeline, and it makes like a double thumbnail for a lot of these things. It's like, coming soon, and then the stream is right next to it. Like, I don't know, maybe on other devices it's a little bit more solid. Yeah. Cool. What's up, Bobanet? How you doing? How's you doing? Programming streams get more people though, so we might have quite a few people. We'll see. Let me resize some of this stuff just so we get a bit more functionality here. Make myself a little bit more scarce. Where is that? That would be this one. Oh my god, I don't feel right. How do I lock the aspect ratio of this thing? Color, add source, open source projector, order, transform. I don't know if I can give it that property then. Huh. I think if I just hold Alt, it'll keep the scale though. Nope. Hold on. Control? Nope. Alt Shift. What is that? That's a weird one. Control Z. I don't trust myself to move the bars properly on it. To unsmallinate myself. I guess. All right. Well, I guess I'm smaller now. I feel weird. Chat's just always going to be kind of big, so we'll do it that way. We'll do like a tier of stuff. There we go. And that way when I'm working, it looks more like I'm looking at what we're doing, right? Yeah, this is the information that I got from the server, and it didn't have what I wanted in there. It wasn't easy for me to get the right thing, and it's this giant string that can't even be displayed in Node-RED. I forget how he got it to get displayed, but that means that my my light is going off of information that I'm not really sure about. I tried to clear the alerts that it had, but this remains purple, which is sort of caution status. Red is something really bad has happened. I don't know if that flow is even still running, so... So we probably have to get back to this light and figure out how exactly we can make it work, but I had a failure of ideas. I didn't know what to do. So, what's up, Cheesy Popcorn? Do something cooler. Do something that looks good on camera, which I guess it really kind of can't. Like, these look really cool IRL, looking at these LEDs doing all their cool little patterns, but that one, no, that's too dim to be on camera. Also, for some reason, this thing has decided to be teal. I don't know what made it do that, but that's where we are. There we go. We'll just go with that. That's sort of vaguely is lighting up. And also none of them are audio responsive yet. Even though we've got the capability, this thing is here. They should be. The audio responsive ones are like real far into the queue, so they don't come up immediately. I need to have lock in a playlist that has all the little audio responsive things going on. This is a lot cooler looking than what you guys are seeing. Man, that's so frustrating with LEDs. Like, how do you get the display of the LED to match what you see through the cameras? Because these cameras are sensitive in all kinds of weird frequencies. Like, they're good at putting together a decent looking video of me sitting here, but as soon as you try to film something like a light source, like an LED, it just doesn't do it. It just can't. I don't know why. And it's not really a frame rate thing. I think it's just a contrast thing, like a relative contrast that the camera doesn't have that your eyeball does. There are ways to configure things so that you can film LEDs better, but I don't know what that means for like the everyday of the shop running. Like if I make it work for LEDs, will it work for me sitting here talking to you? I don't know. I don't know. I actually had this song stuck in my head recently. I probably should turn down the speakers because there's a chance that you guys can probably hear the music that I'm playing for myself, for my intro, over the mic. Although I guess that would be good for the people watching on YouTube because then you would know that there's something going on at least, right? I'm a little scraggly today. I don't know what it was. I think I slept with my face down or something. Yeah. This thing's gonna be cool, but we need to make it work. We need to make it work. 92 LEDs is a lot. We could bump that down to like 45 if we do the larger, denser circle one. Where is that? Hold on, let me grab it. Let me grab some LEDs and throw them asunder. Shrink wrap. I bought way too much because you can't buy it in smaller increments. This is the original. This is not dense enough, but it is small enough that it'll fit in the dog collar and use way less power than the rest of this. This was the experiment with much more dense LEDs, way less flexible, but it would give us more visuals on the collar. What I went with, it's 2 rows of this stuff, which is amazing, but it's very power hungry. The alternative, I guess, would be to put a bigger battery in this thing. This is a bit of a chunk, but there's a little tiny bit of space for a bigger battery. Let's take a look at our batteries and see if I've got anything that could work. Got this 50 cal case, which used to be able to get these things all over the place. You go to like gun shows and stuff, and they've got these by the droves, and you could buy them for real cheap. I got a couple batteries down here, but I don't think I have anything that's gonna fit. Ammo case being a way to keep these safely-ish. The scary drawer. That's too big, too wide. I gotta get rid of all these batteries. None of them are useful. Oh, this is a half taken apart thing. Jeez. This is just a liability is what this is. I think I got rid of all the smaller ones. Yeah, it looks like I did. I got rid of all the little ones. So I don't have any batteries on me. It'd probably be better to buy a new one anyway. Because this is, these are old. None of these quite fit the bill. It's a very specific size. All right, please don't spark. Please don't set on fire. Don't set my whole shop on fire, please. PLS. We're stuck with the battery that came with this thing, huh? Unless I size and order a new one. Man, we're at that level of fall/winter. We're kind of transitioning between the two. We are making our way steadily towards winter time, and as we do, I am stuck with being in a basement and the fact that the heat isn't getting upstairs, and it's going to pool down here. Even though heat rises, it's going to end up being kind of chilly upstairs and then sweltering down here. So I've got a fan on me, so I'm simultaneously overheating and too cold at the same time. The window does a lot of work down here. It's very frustrating. I've blocked off the vents. It's just, that's not enough for it because the whole heat exchanger is like warm and then it leads into the area that leads over here. So as that thing moves air through the rest of the house, it ends up heating its own domain. I got the door closed over there, but I don't think it's enough. I don't know. The heat just gets in here. I don't get it. Yeah, exactly. I guess the studio lights don't help either, but you know, in the dead of winter, it's either freezing cold or way too hot. I cannot seem to regulate the temperature well enough. When the roommates aren't around and I lower the thermostat a little bit and keep it steady, everything feels great and I can finally like exist. But right now I am like a creature of constant discomfort, constant minor discomfort. Not even, almost not even worth mentioning. You must suffer. I can't believe these are off by so little. It's so little that it is just genuinely annoying. It's like 1 millimeter between the original electronics and the Seed Zhao. And I can't alter that 1 millimeter to really get it to fit. Oh, this one's an ESP32. I thought this was the C6. Look at that. Just that. Just that. And I don't know if I'm confident enough to alter the plastic. I don't know how I would alter the plastic quite right to get this thing to kind of snap in. I mean, a 0.5 millimeter on either side, right? Or I just print my own case, but... What's cool is I discovered that this case is actually translucent. Or at least on the newer model. You know what? On the other one that I have, it's translucent. Wait, this one isn't. I don't think they changed up the plastic. It looks the same. Because you can see the red LED through this. When you plug it in, you can see the red LED. Huh. Hey, here's my flashlight. How come the red LED is so visible? It must be really bright. Here, look. When you plug it into charge... Perfectly visible red light. It must be super duper bright. How bright is it? Oh, that didn't light up. Oh, there it is. Okay, yeah, it's pretty bright. It's pretty bright. What's up, Pambo? That's pretty decently bright. Why is it pulsing? Why is it pulsating? Yeah, I guess I could 3D print my own case. We probably have a Studio Zhao. I think I have a dummy PCB in CAD. We could do a couple AutoCAD streams and I could make my own. We also did take the measurements of this thing and put it into Fusion. So I would have to hollow out the thing and then put some kind of a support for the Zhao so that it would be held in, or I can take a file to either, well, I can't to this side. It would have to come out of here. So I'd have to somehow get a clean cut on this edge and reduce it just where the board would go. And that way that would support the board. Because I'm not going to alter the board, although I could get away with a little bit of altering the board. I could shave this clean. I don't know if I can get anything from back here, because it looks like those buttons are going to be the first casualties of such shenanigans. I could potentially take a file to it and reduce it just a little bit. Because yeah, the difference is crazy. It's like just a little distance right there. I don't think I can get that much off of the board. Where's the straight edge? Hold on. The little guy right here. No, wait, where's the little guy? No, where's my straight edge? Got it. This isn't a very tall straight edge. It's not really catching both circuit boards, but... There. So that distance, what is that distance? a millimeter. It's 1 millimeter. You son of a bitch. Mostly I blame the dog collar makers for this arbitrary, it's probably a weird number. Let's see what the width is. What is the measure? Why am I having trouble? Why are you like this? Oh, actually it's the Zhao that's 21 millimeters. They chose a nice even number, 20 millimeter. Millimeter. Interesting. So Seed Studio made it 21 mil. Why did they make it 21? It's so weird. Do you need buttons on it? Yeah, there's one button. We have one button. And you can see there's the button here. We've attached a button to this. The button is offset a little bit, right? So I think we can recycle this button and put it on the Zhao on the right pin. Or maybe just a pin that's ground, possibly. And hopefully we can hold it up. I think there's gonna be this and then a piece of prototyping board next to it, I think, is the way that we'll do that. Because the battery goes underneath all of this stuff. But right now, that's all theory crafting because we need to get a full feature set out of this thing before we move into bending the hardware to our will, right? I need to get all the features of this thing churning away, which includes it not just booting into this, booting into just some weird mode that... And then the single quick press in order to change the pattern will be more meaningful. And we'll have a bit more variety. And then all of the things that we choose will be sound reactive. So I don't need the two buttons on the end of the Zhao, but they are important for the operation of the Zhao. One of these will get it into programming mode, and the other resets the microcontroller, which you don't really need the microcontroller reset so much because you just unplug it and plug it in, I guess. But the programming button is kind of key in case anything goes wrong with the microcontroller. If you get it into a bad mode, that programming button will allow you to then load new software onto the thing and rescue your microcontroller. I mean, it's not 100% totally necessary, the buttons. Oh, I don't like this song. I'm gonna see if I can find a different mix now. Yeah. Okay. Or we just get the music out of here and we get started. Maybe that's the power play here because it is 40 minutes into stream and I haven't started yet. Yeah, let me start soon out of here. Get this back over for all 28 people. It's not doing good numbers and it is Friday, so everybody's probably, hopefully, has life, is out doing cool stuff like we are doing down here. What are we working on? Hi, I'm not going to be as loud today, I guess, because there's other people in the house and I get self-conscious, especially when I know people are in the stairwell because I can hear them going up and down. Anyway, what are we working on? Well, we're back at the dog collar project. Had some time to look at some cool stuff yesterday, you know, because of the Prime deal stuff. But now we actually have to get to work and get stuff done. If you guys recall, we tried several different LEDs with the dog collar, and I settled on 2 rows of the 2 millimeter LEDs because that gives us a bit more visual, I don't know, more opportunity to do stuff with the LEDs that looks cool, I think is kind of where we're going with that. Right now they're configured so that it goes down and back, right? And so that's why the visuals have kind of a crisscross thing going on for them, which is all well and good. That keeps the dog nice and illuminated. After all, they can't lose sight of the ultimate goal of this project, which is to make Willow more visible during my evening or after stream walks. And in that vein, we've got most of the functionality here done. The visuals we have done. We've settled on what this is going to look like. We've got a couple other things that are kind of being juggled at the moment, and one of them is battery life. Battery life is sort of the big kahuna of this entire project. This is a 250 milliamp hour battery. You can't really trust that number. You have to assume that that's going to be a significant overhead into what the battery can actually accomplish. 250 milliamps is the battery capacity, but this is a lithium-ion battery. We do not want to deep cycle it. So we'll probably have 10% off of the top of that, right? We won't have the battery go below 10%. So that needs to last us several hours. It would be nice if it lasted us days, but it just won't with the volume of LEDs that we have. That said, this setup, which for some unknown reason is clamped to 300 milliamps. I don't know what this MOSFET is doing, but I put a rando MOSFET in charge of powering down the WS2812 LEDs when this thing is in a power off state. You see, the thing about this project is that this is a remote device. This is a remote device that's on a battery. And with the device on the battery, your microcontroller technically can never power down. It does not have an on-off switch, like a strict on-off switch. So it's possible that the microcontroller could deep cycle the battery. We don't want that to happen. So when the microcontroller turns off, it goes into a deep sleep mode. wLED, the software that we're running, wasn't totally thought out to be on mobile devices like this, which I think is a big oversight, because honestly, like, the amount of festival and rave clothing that I could make with something like this is vast. That you could have some really, really cool looking outfits that light up like a Christmas tree, or even a Christmas tree. You could light up with this stuff and have it on a remote device, but they really didn't take those considerations in the software. The Seeed Studio Zhao, the ESP32 that we're using, does though, and it's got some really good deep cycle sleep modes. So with 10% of battery, this thing can remain powered up for months and it won't deep cycle the battery because it's drawing microamps. Our whole system altogether will draw 300 milliamps at its worst, which is that's a lot. That's a lot, and that means we don't even get an hour out of our battery, 250 milliamps for almost an hour. And that's full cycle battery, which we're not doing. So we're even less. We're like 30 minutes. 30 minutes on an entire charge is not very good. The thing about it though is that 150 of those milliamps out of 300 are going to the Seeed Studio Zhao and not our 92 LEDs. We need the LEDs to be the star. That needs to be the biggest current draw of anything. So we need this to draw much, much less current than it is right now. And that's going to require us to go into the bones of wLED and actually reconfigure a couple things. wLED has the ability to deep cycle. I can press this and it'll turn back on. Now, okay, it actually did sleep, but did you see that it faded out there? That's because the long press cycle is hard-coded, locked in to actually being part of a dimmer mode. For some reason. I don't know why. So the default code for the button, and by the way, when we deep cycle the microcontroller, this is a microcontroller function. So there is one pin that the microcontroller is listening to for a signal to turn back on. And if you recall, we have one button. So the one button that is attached to this externally can function with programmed responses that we set up in the setup of wLED, but it also has these responses hard-coded into this button for some reason. It's just something that wLED does default, which is part of the craziness of wLED. What's going on here? Shortlurker and I tried to get to the bottom of this and see if anybody else had these perfectly reasonable and normal problems that somebody might have when you have these secret modes that nobody told you about. Like if you hold the button down for 6 seconds, it will go into AP mode, where you have to connect your phone's Wi-Fi directly to the device in order to change the settings, right? 6 seconds, AP mode. 10 seconds is a hard reset of all of the it's a factory reset of all the settings of the microcontroller. And this was in a forum post. I think since they've actually put it into the all the tutorials and stuff, but like here unknown to us, our power button, which has to be the power button because that is the button that wakes up the microcontroller when it's in a super duper deep sleep, right? Very necessary. We go into super duper deep sleep. The microcontroller is doing practically nothing. It listens to this one pin. But hard-coded into wLED is this 6 and 10 second function. And it's like 6 seconds. I don't have a stopwatch on me, right? and I don't know what schmeckens or whatever the hell alteration of seconds the microcontroller is listening to. It doesn't have a real-time clock. There's a module where you can install one, but it doesn't necessarily have a real-time clock, so it might not even be listening to seconds, especially if it's hot. If it's a hot microcontroller, its seconds might be altered a little bit. But listen, I used to work with bombs. I know about timing and microcontrollers. Trust me on this one. So putting in a secret 6-second timer on that button that's hard-coded and I cannot do anything about, maybe that would be fine. But the 10-second one is outright, because 4 seconds, I shouldn't have to explain these things. It's ridiculous. But then we found a forum post talking about it where somebody had the same perfectly reasonable crash out that I'm having. And the devs just didn't, they were like, no, we did it perfectly. It's fine. What? It ain't, if it ain't ticks, it ain't sits. My pleas for basic humanity are falling upon dead ears. We were able to get this thing into the super sleep mode, right? That works. That draws microamps, so it's close to what we need. But what I need to do is I need to change the behavior, and the factory reset should not be a factory reset anymore. We'll just not have access to a factory reset because we don't need it, because we could just reprogram the microcontroller, right? Now, that's not the 2 buttons that are on the Xiao. The 2 buttons on the Xiao will still exist. The 2 buttons on the Xiao are for putting it into programming mode. So that is our factory reset. We're not the typical end user of wLED. wLED, even as bespoke hardware, you can buy a little LED powery thingy that you plug into your wLED strip, and then you can interact with it on the higher level than we are. We're getting down into the bones of the actual code, whereas you can interact with it just as like a Internet of Things thing. You can just open up its little web page and alter the thing to your heart's content. So anyway, hopefully that justifies all the stuff that we've got going on here. There's a lot of background to what I'm working on. We're going to try to get this thing into, well, first of all, we're going to change the code for the button, and that allows us to give it our own modes. We don't even have to change the timing if we don't want. We can. And then I'm going to have my own like hard-coded thing. wLED is in WS2812. wLED stands for wireless LED, or Wi-Fi LED, I think. And it is a set of software that exists for a bunch of different microcontrollers. Like I have to put a lot of respect on a project that exists across a bunch of different platforms, because that in and of itself is its own project. That's tough. That makes your coding, first of all, fall under a lot more scrutiny, which is why I'm seeing the code at all in the first place. But it also means that you need to have like modular pieces of software that work together in order to go on all kinds of different platforms. So wLED is if you have a microcontroller and you have a strip of WS2812, LPD8806, all these different LEDs work with wLED. You load that up onto your microcontroller, and then you can configure it for your hardware, and it'll make cool things happen with your LEDs. Like, for instance, the dog collar is literally just a WS2812 strip, and we happen to code it to do stuff as per our button press, but you can configure it to do all kinds of different stuff. wLED contains macros and playlists that you can use with the LED strip, as well as having the ability to have modules attached to it. It's got like different pieces of software that you can add to it in order to do things like react to sound, or do all kinds of complicated things. It's not just your typical RGB. You can have it respond to like frequency specific stuff. You can have it do all kinds of very interesting things. We're kind of skirting the surface of that, and I haven't really gotten deep into it yet. I don't quite know how the macros and the different sensors interact with the visuals of wLED. It seems like a lot of the plugins that are for something like a specific sensor need to be plugged in on a coding level, which I didn't think that was the case, and maybe I just don't understand the macros enough to make that work. That might be what it is I just don't understand how to use the variables in the macros properly. That's the part that I would like to be learning, but this whole project sinks or swims on the energy contained in this battery right here. This is the original battery for the Petal, say, LED leash. And like, listen, like an engineer, like your typical dipshit engineer, I look at a product and I say, wait, I don't like how that's done. I'm gonna do it better. So this originally, this dog collar, it's apparently one that Julian has too. I bought 2 of these because, you know, when you do a project like this, you need to have a spare. Anyway, the first mode, the initial mode, is this frenetic blinking. I'm sure that saves a lot of power and it'll probably last like a month or 2. Hey, I'm not an engineer, I'm just a dipshit. So you have to cycle through modes in order to get a good visual mode for the dog to be out and visible by cars. So I want to have the initial mode of this to be random, but from a selected playlist of modes that will keep my dog visible, right? And we can use the playlists to make them all keep the dog visible. Now, it seems like I'm going to have to use something sparkly, something that sparkles more than it just illuminates, because having all of these LEDs powered at once is a huge amount of current. So it would be better if we had one that was, I'm looking for a sparkly one. A lot of the trailing ones are good too. During the ideas phase of the project, it was interesting because I could put an accelerometer on this thing and have maybe LEDs that respond when the dog's jumping around. But I figure the microphone is going to be enough. We can just have it be audio. These aren't audio reactive. I have to hit this button a bunch of times to get to the audio reactive ones, or get into it with the web interface. Every time we're powering this up, you can see the microcontroller is just this ball of heat. That heat is this thing getting on Wi-Fi. I do not want the Wi-Fi or the Bluetooth to be on until I hold the button down for a certain amount of time. So what we'll do is we'll take AP mode and we'll put that on the 10-second hold, and then maybe on the 6-second hold, we'll have it try to get into Wi-Fi. I don't know how we'll show it doing that, but hold the button for 6 seconds, goes into Wi-Fi mode. Hold it for 10 seconds, that's emergency AP mode. So if you don't have a computer or if you're away from the Wi-Fi network. I think that's perfectly reasonable. And then there's no factory reset because that's a trap. Reverse John Wick, what, the dog finds the person? Doing a bunch of flips. When not moving, the dog doesn't light up. Yeah. No, I figure audio should get us enough. The accelerometer, while it would be really fun to have, you have to get into the programming in order to get it to be used at all, is my understanding. Because there's like a scripting language that they use, but they don't really tell you anything about bringing the variables from because you install a sensor module, right? And that sensor module is loaded by the main software, and it has access to its own variables within it. And it says, oh, we have access to the following variables outside of our code, but I don't know if that means that the scripting language can touch those variables. It would be nice if they could, because then I wouldn't have to go all the way down to microcontroller coding in order to use some of these things. And I suspect that's the case, but I have nothing proving either way. I have no examples of somebody installing like the accelerometer code and using that within their playlist item. I don't know if that works. It has to work that way, right? That has to be how it works. But I just don't know. So yeah, see the wLED interface is right here. And so with this, I can actually control what patterns we see. The ones with microphones next to them, I mean, we got all thsee patterns. Look at all these patterns that we can run on this thing. So like grab frequency, I can select. And then depending on what frequencies the microcontroller shows, or what the microphone sees, you see it's responding there. But these are not the script language. The script language is over here in the presets. In the presets, I am able to do something like fx equals tilde, and then that goes to a random fx, right? And then you can call them using the buttons, using the number of the preset. So I can have in here, I can actually have a preset that is the playlist of all of the items, of all the patterns that we have, and I can modify these by making them into presets. And you can also put an API command in there. I would love it if the API command could be the sensor data, but I don't know if that's the case. Can you change the LED on-off frequency? Like when it's on, it's actually flickering really fast. There used to be a thing for that. I don't know about in wLED, but I mean, yes, the way you do that is with the brightness. Over here, there's a brightness control, not right there. And so right now we're at half. So we should pretty much be illuminated at a 50% duty cycle. Although I don't know if it actually pertains to that. This is not the maximum brightness. I can bring the brightness up. Now we're at max. And I think that maxes out how many amps USB will allow drawn. Because we do have a lot of LEDs. So if I turn the brightness way down, is that the strip brightness? Yeah, see, now the brightness is way down. So now we're saving a bunch of power. You can barely see the LEDs. Bring that back up. How's it going? We are putting LEDs into a dog collar. Although we've already done that, we need to get this thing to be a little bit more efficient with the power that it is consuming. Let's do, okay, so this is randomly selecting a color. We can bring it more to, I don't know, the green realm. All right, let's go a little bit over there. And then I'm gonna choose a different audio one. Maybe Juggles. It's kind of like, you know, the camera does not do the LEDs justice. This is very visible, and you can see the individual points of light with your human eye. The camera is not quite doing it the type of justice that it deserves, but yeah, we've got all kinds of cool stuff here. If I change this to rainbow, yeah, I guess that just chooses one. If I go to a color palette that's random cycle, there we go. So yeah, this is audio reactive, and it's got cool patterns, and it's got about 90 LEDs as a part of the visual display. Yeah, I'm not touching the camera settings though right now. I've got those set through Node-RED. I've got my presets on the Logitech cameras. So the thing is, the human eye has a huge amount of contrast that it can view. We've got a huge amount of contrast in visuals, and the CCD camera has weird sensitivity to certain frequencies. So this is about good enough. You guys should just know that it's a little bit more crisp looking IRL. Yeah, this is responding to my voice. Okay, so our problem right now is power. This is a 250 milliamp battery. This thing draws 300 milliamps. All of our power, if you'll notice, I have a thermal camera, and heat is energy. That thing's using a lot of energy, and it's doing it to get onto Wi-Fi. So we need to get it off of the Wi-Fi, which means we might be putting it on an island where it is permanently stuck. The other part is when we tell it to turn off, it's going to go into a microcontroller sleep mode, not a wLED sleep mode, right? It's going to go into a microcontroller sleep mode where it turns off both of the modems. And it doesn't do a deep cycle sleep, it's just going to turn off both of the modems so that they're not wasting energy. When it does that, we need to see if our wLED code stalls, and it might, because wLED might rely on this thing getting onto some type of a network in order to do its thing. We took away the network information from it, and it froze up. It just didn't do anything. If it didn't have anything to connect to with Wi-Fi, it then proceeded to not perform its visuals, which is a project-killing bug. That's a project-killing bug. I need this to do its animating, but without the Wi-Fi running. So I have the whole thing loaded into Platform.io. We can open up Platform.io. I think I've had this open for a month. And I've been looking at just all the stuff that's going on here. We've made our own little environment, our own little, you know, configuration on this thing. And I've taken the code from GitHub and I've loaded it on here as our own project. So when we're altering this, we are altering this for us. We're not altering it for a branch or anything like that. I probably could make this into a branch because I know my contributions might actually be useful, but I don't know. I don't know. We just have our wLED nightly pull from like 3 weeks ago. And we have access to all of the code here. So when I was looking through this stuff, we were actually looking at where the business of the buttons is actually performed, because we have these default button modes that we don't want. Where was that? That was in, oh boy. I don't know if it was PIO. That's platform IO. We're doing, was it lib? No, that's libraries. Oh, I've got it open over here. Here's deep sleep and then platform IO home. Can we close that? We can. Okay, cool. We don't need untitled one either. Okay. Deep sleep is the library that we're using. I thought I would alter deep sleep to do the stuff that we needed to do. I think I still need to put stuff into deep sleep to get us out of the sleep mode for the microcontroller. I have not used platform IO before, so I don't know what any of the stuff that I'm looking at is. It's very kind of intimidating. Why was that? Why is it doing that? What's going on up here? Okay, all right. So that's deep sleep. We're gonna have to alter deep sleep. The other one that we have to get into is the, not in the user mods, but we're in the, I guess the core of the thing. We need to get the, all right, let's see, FX, HTML, hue. What was it called again? Oh man, I lost the, there's a, I think a button, there's a button specific thing here. Button, oh yeah, there it is. Okay, so this is where we're controlling all of the buttons of this thing. And looking at this code, I mean, they at least give us some of the settings up here. Long factory reset is, 10 seconds. Long AP is 5 seconds. But I think the implementation of this is a little bit hinky because we have a, let's see, where is that? It's long press action, short press action, double press action. That's if and def wLED disable MQTT is button pressed. If button pin is less than 0, return false. So button is not pressed. If button is pressed, then we go into the button type press with the actions there. Okay, but handling, let's see, where is that? There's something to do with the, yeah, here we go. It's somewhere down here. If no macro for short press and long press is defined, use brightness control. For some reason, this is happening even though we've actually given it behavior for the long press. I think it's maybe interpreting that we've not given it anything, even though it is being given a macro. Brightness, blah, blah, blah. I remember there being a block of code where they're using a for statement to do this, so I just need to refamiliarize myself with this. I don't know if it's in the handled button. For unsigned B is equal to 0, wLED max buttons B++, else button pin is, okay, so that's just seeing if the button pin is possible. If button type, if now analog read, that's not quite what I was looking for. I don't think that's the right one. Momentary button. Yeah, this is the code. It's very strange. If now minus button press time of button is greater than wLED long press, that means we've done a long press. Oops. If button redirection long press action on that one. Else, if repeated action 5 times per what? Action B button time now is equal to what? Okay, so that's the timer between a double click. That's the timer between a double click. I need to like move these windows so that you guys can actually see what I'm doing. You can actually see what I'm looking at. So this is evaluating the button press time on the action of lifting to say, it has been how long since the button was last pushed. This thing is going crazy while I'm talking to you guys. So if duration is less than bounce threshold, button press before... Oh my god, this code. If B is equal to 0 and duration is greater than the wLED long AP, if def wLED add EEPROM support, clear the EEPROM. So if you've added EEPROM support, this is where it'll clear the EEPROM and default all of your settings. And then it does a reboot. Else init AP is true. So this is where we're turning on the AP. Oh man, but this is nested in so many different things. Otherwise, we do the short press action. Oh, okay, so what I need to do is, instead of going into AP mode, maybe we should do this so that we, just for now, so that if we do the 6-second press here, we'll turn off the radio modem. But then we need a way to turn it back on. So if we do the 10-second, maybe we, instead of... And we don't reboot. Instead, we're turning off the radio. So if we turn off the radio, we can see whether or not this is possible. You know, what we're doing is possible. We can have it we can go into the wake-up code and have it so that when it wakes up, it turns off all of its modems. And that'll keep us in a low power state until we hold the button, and we'll have it turn it on here. But for right now, we're going to reverse the script on that. And so we're going to have it turn off the radio modems, and we'll see whether or not we can, because we're just going to reprogram it after this anyway. So having it shut down the modems and potentially freeze out and stop controlling the LEDs, I need to see that behavior, right? I need to see whether if I shut down the radios, if it's going to pause everything, if the microcontroller is going to freeze out because it gets stuck in a loop that fails. Capiche? Do you guys understand what I'm trying to say here? So we'll do it on 10 seconds because it's more definitive. I will maybe alter these timings later, but right now we need to I need to mark that I'm altering code here. Bother, edit, test, powering off modems. In deep sleep, what are we doing? In deep sleep, we are looking at the different pins to make sure that things are configured so that you don't brick your microcontroller. And you can't, it's not really so much that you could brick it, you can't really brick your microcontroller, but you will have to load up software again in order to get it to work if you put it into a deep sleep and you can't get it out. I think you can still hit reset on it. Maybe not. Maybe you need to have, yeah, that's true. I guess you could potentially brick and have to actually hook up via hardware in order to upload to the microcontroller. Power could false, delay counter mode, else bright s strip dot set brightness. Relay pin, relay mode high low. That's turning the relay on and off. Power up false. Where are we going to sleep? Where are we? GPIO sleep set pull mode. GPIO sleep set pull mode, GPIO-T number. ESP deep sleep enable GPIO wake up. Whew. Pull up this, pull down enable external wake up. Here it is. Go into deep sleep. So instead, okay, so ESP32 deep sleep modes. Let's look those up because we need to know what we're using here. wLED driver RTC IO.H. We may need to include this. So let's go to button, see what we're using all the way up here. wLED. So yeah, let's pull in the RTC IO. Actually, wait, that's real-time clock IO. Do I need real-time clock IO? I might not. I might not. That's for like the timed deep sleeps, and we're not doing anything with that. Where's my bother thing? Control F bother. There we are. I also have to get rid of the dimming mode on this thing. I don't know really how I'm going to do that because that's a big block of code. Okay, so let's find ESP32 ESP32 C3 sleep. Espressif has a whole thing on this. They got a whole page on the sleep that I've read before. Supports 2 major power saving modes, light sleep and deep sleep. We're trying to go to light sleep. Light sleep and deep sleep. According to the features used by the application, there are some sleep modes for sleep modes, and sleep modes. Additionally, there are some power down options that can be configured to further reduce power consumption. I had like an Italian hoagie from an Italian market, and it's like one of those hardcore Italian hoagies, so I might be burpy today because of the use of oils and stuff and fat in a Italian market Italian hoagie. Several wake up sources and sleep mode sources can also be combined so that the chip will wake up with any of the sources triggered. Cool. The configuration power down options and wake up sources are optional. They can be configured any moment. That's also good. Sounds good. I need to eat at some point. Yeah, I've been getting that way. The more stuff like this I do, the more like I'm gonna forget to eat, and I can't trust myself to feel hunger anymore, which isn't a bad thing. Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and sleep modes. Here we go. In deep sleep and light sleep modes, the wireless peripherals are powered down. Before entering deep sleep or light sleep modes, the application must disable Wi-Fi and Bluetooth using the appropriate calls. So, Nimble port stop, Nimble port deinit, ESP Blue Droid disabled, ESP Blue Droid deinit, ESP Bluetooth controller disabled, ESP controller deinit, ESP Wi-Fi stop. That's a lot of stuff. Do I need to run all of this? Yeah, it's one of those things like ADHD does to me as well, where I'm like, and boy, I could use it a lot more in my life because you guys know I'm not thin, but you get into something really hardcore and nothing else exists. When I was working on, actually an LED project also got me into that. The most notable case of it was where I was working on the LED helmet that I have like way behind me. It's hanging from the wall. I can't get it down right now. But I had that thing, and I had all the hardware running on it, and I was sitting here programming all of the different visuals, and the visuals on that were, man, if wLED existed back then, this is like 2012, I would have really liked it. wLED would have been perfect. It would have saved me a lot of time, but I coded this from the ground up. You know, the reason that I don't really like all of these your platform IO and your big IDEs that help you like really code complicated things quickly is because I exist with microcontrollers. I think that my overall code should be able to be realized with pen and paper. I should be able to write down what my main function is going to do on a notepad and be able to like grow it from there using the other IDE tools. So I'm just the whole platform IO thing where it's got all these helper windows and stuff open at the same time. Too much for me. I think in much simpler terms. And I was up to like 4 o'clock in the morning that night before the party that I was supposed to go to that afternoon, programming how my visuals are going to work on this helmet, because I actually took the length of all the strips, unfolded it, figured out the same, like all the locations of the LEDs, and applied them to a mathematic visualization, which made like an RGB plasma. And then I applied to that a shifter that would change the different frequencies of light and the brightness that you were hearing depending on the EQ volumes. I had an equalizer chip in there that would take the frequency, do the Fourier analysis of the audio that I was getting. So it had a band for bass, it had a band for treble, it had 7 bands that it was able to actually represent the audio that it was getting in, which was really, really cool. What that boiled down to was basically me just going up to people and going, "Am I too bright or too loud?" And it would like get really bright. So I only use platform IO if I have to. Yeah, it's kind of crazy, isn't it? So what do I need in order to just turn off? I mean, we can turn off just Wi-Fi, although I should probably also turn off Bluetooth. But in doing that, like nimble port stop, etc. So what's going on here? What are my sleeps that I can use? Those are like super sleep. I don't care about those. I mean, I guess I can look at these different pieces here. Enable Wi-Fi modem sleep and modem automatic light sleep features. See power management APIs. All right, what do we got? Driver peripheral clock from AFB, blah, 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 blah. Oh, we can even do this. I don't think I need to do that. I don't need to change the frequencies. I'm almost out of the 4XXs. What's that? CPU frequency map, we don't need to get that deep into our sleep. Oh, I see. Yeah, that's pretty nice. That's cool. Yeah, I think I'm going on like 20 pounds lost here. It's kind of crazy. I just need to change some habits a little bit more and sort of hunker down and, you know, I'm getting the exercise with the dog. I'm doing that, but I could certainly take her for slightly longer walks. Yeah, we're not messing with frequencies. I just need to know about shutting down Wi-Fi. I think we're in the wrong. Well, it is still power management, but this is like crazy. So, let's see here. Let's get out of this. It's like, yeah, just put the appropriate calls in. It's like, well, okay, can we get, I guess this is a bit more. Stop station, freeze the station control block if mode is Wi-Fi mode AP. It stops soft AP and freeze soft AP control block if mode is Wi-Fi mode APSTA. It stops station soft AP and freeze station. What's going on here? Stops NAN and freeze NAN control block. What? Wi-Fi restore, Wi-Fi connect. So disconnect, fast connect, default station, scan. So if we just want to throw a wrench into the works, DNet will free all resources allocated in ESP Wi-Fi init and stop the Wi-Fi task. If we deinitialize. Wi-Fi operating mode is station soft AP, blah, 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 blah. We're not doing that. Wi-Fi get mode, Wi-Fi start, and then if we hit stop, stops the station, freeze the station control block. It is Friday indeed. It is Friday. So if I just do ESP Wi-Fi stop here, this is on the factory reset mode. This is the 10-second press. Oh, look at that. They're giving me all the functions. Wait, ESP32, DNit, disable PMF config, but we're looking at stop. Geez, it really hides stop from you, huh? Nope. All right, so what's the one to shut down? Bluetooth. Because this is probably going to cause errors, and it'll probably stop this whole thing from functioning. And I want to test that. And I want to test that. Nimble port stop, blue droid disable. Really? Is it VLU? Wait, what is it? It's a blue droid, but it doesn't recognize any of that. So, okay. Nimble? Nothing. It's nimble port stop, blue droid disable, ESP BT. There we go. ESP BT controller. Task BT controller. It doesn't recognize any of these. So maybe we just Wi-Fi stop and we just see what happens if I push the button for 10 seconds, if we still get anything happening there. And then I've just disabled AP mode. wLED instance, init AP true. And here we're hitting a straight up clear EEPROM. Do reboot is equal to true. So they've got other parameters, other variables that they're enabling and disabling using these flags in order to initiate these responses, probably so that the microcontroller can do other stuff before it does these things. Although the clear EEPROM is just blatantly right there. So it's not like clear EEPROM is equal to true. So it'll wipe out the EEPROM right then and there and reboot the device. Whereas with the other ones, it sort of is nice about it. It sets the flag, and then when the microcontroller gets around to checking that flag, it'll say, "Oh, that flag is set. All right, I'm all set. Let's boot down." Very convoluted stuff with this kind of code, and I guess that preserves the functionality throughout different platforms, because you can then have a different place in the code that's looking at those flags, and then those flags can change per microcontroller that's initialized. In our case, it has to be the ESP32 specific command, which might not exist in like an 8266. But ESP Wi-Fi stop seems to be generic enough, and we are looking it up in relation to the ESP32C3. So we've got Wi-Fi stop. So okay, let's try Wi-Fi stop code. This is some real kind of hacky stuff that we're doing here. How do I operate this platform again? I vaguely remember. Serial monitor, run or debug. I guess upload, which is Control-Alt-U. It's blocked by the camera. Yeah. Let's put it. What am I connected to? COM7. I think that's the correct one. It certainly isn't COM4. What's that? Cheers, yeah. Screw it, let's just all go get a beer. Do I need to put this into programming mode? I think I might have to. So in order to do that, I power it down and hit, I forget which one it is, the right or the left button. Let's try the right one. Unplug it in, and then release the button. And it appears, well, that's doing stuff, so that might not be the right button. Is this gonna reset? Yeah, that's gonna reset. Okay, it's the left button. So I hold this one down, I plug it in, release, and we are in a programming mode, so the LEDs aren't doing anything. Okay, so now we're in a programming mode. This thing should show up as a COM port. I think it is on COM, no, maybe not. Serial over Bluetooth link, it's not COM4. This thing does say COM7, but it should be recognizing that the Seed Studio Zhao is connected in some way. How can I figure that out? Does it show up as like a drive? Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe if I just click upload on this thing, it'll do it all for me. Oh, yeah, this is the status window right here. Resolving dependencies. Wait, is that what it's doing right now? Hold on a second. Uh, hmm. That's not a problem with what we're doing right now, right? Stop Wi-Fi mode, Wi-Fi STA, stop station, free station, control block mode, AP, soft AP, free, blah, 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 blah. Error or whatever. This isn't, I am deeply confused on how to use Platform IO. Check platformio.ini. Mine has an upload port com3 equals, com is equal to 3. I don't think we had that, but I've got this open right here. This is our Platform IO override. We didn't have like a port set for this. Although I think I did put in, yeah, I put in my defaults for like the audio and stuff, which is good. $46,080. Yeah, I don't think I put a COM port in here. But we were uploading on COM7, right? But it appears that it doesn't see COM7. Let me just check my device mangler. See what our ports, comms, and LPTs. Oh, you know what? This is a power cable. This is a power cable. This is a power cable that I plugged it into. It's plugged into a power cable. That's right. This is just coming from the power brick. Whoops. Okay, that's the power cable. It was a power cable all along. The problem was staring at us the whole time. Left button pressed. Initiate microcontroller. Okay, so now we're in a programming mode. No, we're not. Why are the LEDs on? Turn off thy LEDs. Well, actually, I think we might be able to upload the code from here. I don't think we need to put it into programming mode. But now on the ports, we have an extra port, COM7. So cool. All right, so now COM7 is configured. I'm going to click upload and probably get completely inundated with errors. Well, it has 16 problems, but I don't recall caring about your problems, computer. You know, those are YPs, not MPs. I'm going to pour myself more water while this thing builds in release mode. Yeah, so the problem is when I do a long press, it initiates the dimming mode that is supposed to be associated with a press that is less than 6 seconds. But I have made the long press into go to sleep mode. But now I am going to make long press is not going to be configured yet, I think. Terminal will be reused by task, press any key, yes to close it, Y. What's going on now? Did it upload? Did it? Oh, it's doing a visual. It shouldn't have this behavior yet of changing modes when I press this button. So I don't know if we've got our version of the software in here. If I long press, it went into deep sleep. So that shouldn't be happening if our upload succeeded. So I don't think our upload has succeeded yet. My question is, do I need to put this into a programming mode in order to upload the new software to it? But it does see the COM port, so maybe it should be able to. I also have absolutely no idea what the hell I'm doing here, so I know how to use regular Arduino, not this platformio nonsense. I'm gonna move the windows down a little bit. We gotta pack it up. I need a little bit more room on the screen so you guys can see what's going on. Bring it down here, chat. All right, so all I know is how to hit upload. Upload port COM7. Platform IO upload ESP32. That doesn't look good. What are you talking about? Oh, there should be an outload, like it's telling me uploading percent. I don't know, it's doing something. Something's happening. LPDF mode finder change compatibility. What is that about? Well, right now I can't change the size of this bar. Building in release mode. The environment is ESP32C3 dog collar. So I guess it's going. Something's happening. Serial port selected. It went blank. It's writing addresses. Okay, here we go. It's actually uploading. I didn't change anything with the code. I just hit upload again. I don't know why. I guess having it plugged in helps. Okay, so the LEDs are on. This thing says 100%. Does that mean that it succeeded? I hit the button. I went into a different mode. I mean, that's a good sign. Oh, wait, success. One succeeded. Okay. So technically now, it should not do factory reset, and it should also not do the 6-second AP mode. If I get to the 10-second EEPROM reset mode, it will turn off the modem, the Wi-Fi modem. So first, I guess I'm going to try to find the IP address, which is probably the same one that it had before, seeing as the MAC address is the same. So if this connects, it should change to red. It changed to red. Okay, so this is currently chooching away and doing its thing. I don't know why these were preserved. Are these held in like the EEPROM or something like that, and we didn't erase the EEPROM? If I hit refresh on this, I wonder if all of these macros go away. No, they're all still there. What? Which means that I should be able to put it into the deep sleep mode, but we want to do the 10-second deep sleep mode. So I guess we're going to try to sleep Wi-Fi. Let me put this into a mode where the LEDs are actually like giving us something. Yeah, that's frequency wave. That's only when I'm talking. Grav frequency? Maybe not. No. Grav, what the fuck? Okay, hold on. Let me just find noise fire. That's going to be a weird one. Why are they so dull? I don't know. It seems like they're a little bit less punchy than they were. Oh, it's because the computer's not giving as much power to the USB. This is, yeah, okay. So, this one gets too quiet. I need one with stuff just on. There we go. That one's kind of crazy. It's phased noise. And put that on a random color cycle. There we go. Now I've got something that tells me that the microcontroller is definitely thinking. See if I can like put shade on this. There we go. Keep it a little little bit more dull so that you guys can see the, what happened? Oh, there needs to be, okay, so maybe not an audio responsive one. We'll just go to phased. That one will just keep a visual going on. Okay, so now 10 seconds on the clock. You know what? Before I do that, I'm going to save. Hold on a second. It would be in like backup, right? Time and macros, maybe? No. Security and updates. Oh, yeah, okay, that's good. All right, Backup and restore. Presets. And configuration. There you go, okay. Okay, cool, so we got all that stuff, just in case I accidentally factory reset the EEPROM, which I shouldn't be able to, because we commented out those parts of code, and that should be in the section that the thing uses, right? Unless our configurations or environments were significantly altered. Yeah, we're trying to get the Wi-Fi to shut down so that we're using a lot less current. And I guess I just need to do it that way. Because we don't have current monitoring on this right now. But we'll see if the Wi-Fi shuts down. So 10 seconds. Let me pull up the system clock here. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Overtime. Done. Is your Wi-Fi shut down? Is you animating? Ah, oh wait, yes it is. Okay, so we do have animation moving. That's going back and forth. Now, do we have Wi-Fi? Yes. Yeah, it still has Wi-Fi. Why didn't our code go up into the thing? What's going on? Maybe a bunch of stuff got in the way of this thing going into its 10-second mode. Because we saw it turn off in the middle of that. It faded out and turned off in the middle of it. Because there's all kinds of stuff that it does alternatively. It's kind of ridiculous. You know, they programmed into the button where if you hold it, it'll fade out. So it's fading out there. Now, technically that's asleep. And then that brings it back. But if I hold this for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, it may have just gone to sleep. It may have run my macro and gone to sleep, and that doesn't allow us to get into the 10-second button press. What if I 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You have now been pressed for 10 seconds. You should have executed the part of the code that we wanted you to, which has the Wi-Fi sleep mode command. So the question is, 1, are we still animating? No, we're not. Huh. Okay, I think I just initiated the Wi-Fi sleep because I can't change that preset and it's stuck. So it's not sending data to the LED strip because part of the code requires Wi-Fi to have some kind of a return, and that part of the code is locking up. Do I know where that code is? No, I don't. I don't know what the code is, and I don't know how to use the debugging stuff on this. But I think we did successfully initiate a power down of the Wi-Fi modems, and now we know that it stops wLED from functioning. And that was something that, you know, a smug user came in here with the wLED stuff and they said, hey, Bother, it's definitely not going to work and I'm smarter than you. And so I don't trust that. I don't trust people. I don't trust that. So I had to put it to the test myself. So we did, in fact, power down Wi-Fi, huh? Now, if I really wanted to put it to more of a test, we could make the 6-second press, which this code is just so dog shit. We could have it stop the Wi-Fi, start it up here. So that if I hold it for 10 seconds, we can get back out of this. Anything can be programmed. That's kind of what we're running into. The devs saw no reason to change this code, but this code is absolutely, I wouldn't, like, it's effective, right? The code works. It's just structured in a very confusing way that can't really be altered for all of the care that they put in putting all of the settings all the way up at the top of the code. Like, that's great. That was a good step. But down later in the code, the actual behavior of the button is sort of pretty messy. And then around here, there's also the fade ins and a fade out code that I really would like to disable. Like, is button pressed has a bunch of different stuff that it does. Touch and switch buttons. Switch handling, that's not what we care about. If bright, toggle on and off, status updated. What the hell? Yeah, this is messy. Filtering, pot smoothing, don't care about that. That's the debug. Uncomment the next lines if you still see flickering. No, don't care about that. If no macro, short press and long press is defined, use brightness. This is, I think broken. I think part of this is broken because you guys saw when I held down the button, there was like a fade out, and maybe that's just it animating between stuff. But you're already a step further than me. I've never been able to flash a 32 with button capabilities working. What? Is that just like a setup flag? Maybe you should look at the wLED code because yeah, this code enables it. Okay, color HS2 RGB A read 255 color press. This is macro double press. What is that all about? Effect palette, map, read. This is all configurable inside of the settings. Why is it here? Why are we doing double press settings out here? Because they have these default double press for segment selection. Segment set option, seg option on false. Like, this is stuff that, boy, I would like to get that out of there, you know? I guess I could just get rid of the if statement. If no macro for short press and long press is defined, use brightness control. Or don't do any of that. Or just don't do any of that. I guess before doing that, well, no, because I do want to get rid of this part of the code. So let's just comment this whole thing out. Whole thing. Nope. You don't get that anymore. You're not allowed to do that. Oh wait, this is the wrong, where do you terminate? Oh, that's handle analog. Well, whatever. Handle button. It's the stupid Explorer. Can I collapse the Explorer? Yes, I can. Okay, good. There we go. I need more space for the code to breathe. Just add a false equals true in the if statement. Oh, okay. Well, this is handle analog, so I don't think we need to. Actually, where are we? Wait a minute. If macro button B and macro long press B. Define use as brightness control. And so if I just like just false it. Oh, I see. We need a conditional in here. So that'll false it. That's so weird. Programming is weird. Okay, so that's getting rid of the if no macro for short press and long press is defined, even though I think technically we have it defined, I need to disable the dimmers as well. So let's see, handle button, unsigned long, blah, 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 blah. Strip is updating, don't interfere with strip update, last run is equal to now, if def 8266, don't care. Button type, don't care. If button is not momentary but a switch, don't care. Momentary button logic, if is button pressed. If all macros are the same, fire action immediately on rising edge. Don't get that one. Short press action B. Button press before is equal to button press time is equal to now. Continually update for debounce to work. I wish they just used a bounce to library. It's so much easier. Button press before, button time is greater than now. Button press before is equal to true. If now minus button press time is greater than wLED long press, button bidirection is equal to not button bidirectional. Toggle brightness direction on long press, and then long press action. Is that where I do it? Long press action, I guess, is what is initiating my macro to put this thing to sleep. Although I'm not using double tap to put it to sleep, I'm using press and hold. But that's not the default like dimmer thing. I think, you know what, I'm starting to think that the dimmer thing is just it animating between stuff. Because the way that it'll initiate, like what if I change the color on this, it'll dim into the next color. I think that's maybe what it's doing. wLED fs.format? Factory reset if press greater than 10 seconds. Oh, I need to get rid of this. That was a, that's not good. It's supposed to format, clear EEPROM, and then do a reboot. So we had format in there still. Uh-oh. I may have formatted this. Maybe that's why it froze. I do have all my default buttons plugged in there, though. Yeah, the wLED setting for transition time. I should take that out. Okay, so now if I hold it for 10 seconds, it'll start Wi-Fi back up. If I hold it for 6 seconds, it'll stop. I don't know what this did. That may have reset some stuff. Factory settings.format. I don't think we cleared the EEPROM though, so maybe my presets are still in the thing. Let's just let's re-upload this and see if it functions. I dearly hope that it does. And I think I don't need to go into the programming mode to upload. Let's just try it and see what happens. Scanning dependencies. We played that back in the day, 5 years ago. Jesus, was that 5 years ago? Oh my God. We played that Starship game where you all have different like functions on the ship, and my friends sort of clotheslined me into being the engineer. So basically everybody was fighting me to power up their systems. And our other buddy who, oh, Something failed? Yeah, okay. I need to hold the button down and reset the micro to go into programming mode, I guess. And now, if I hit upload, it should upload. And so one of our friends got sort of defaulted into being in charge of science on the ship, and he hated it. He hated every minute of it. So whenever we'd get to a planet, he's scanning for life forms. it was unintentionally very funny. But that's what I think of when I see something that says scanning. Scanning for life forms. It was like the most depressing scientist ever. Building in release mode. Okay, the terminal process, target upload environment, port, COM7 terminated. Terminal will now be, why? Just upload error 2. Could not upload to COM7. What's interesting is after putting the Wi-Fi to sleep, this thing is not coming back. Oh, COM7 because it doesn't exist? Uh-oh. Do we brick our micro? Hold down the button. Plug it in. Release the button. Check the COM port. We don't have the COM port. Go to device mangler. We're toying with powers that we can't comprehend. We are screaming in the face of an indifferent God in order to do the stuff we're doing today. The forces that we're dealing with, the forces of microcontroller sleep, are more powerful than we could ever comprehend. We're in dangerous waters here, chat. And it may be that we might have bricked our micro by stopping Wi-Fi and having no way to start it up again. Which is a little crazy that we would be able to do that. It's a little crazy. I don't know why the COM port wouldn't function unless... hold down both buttons, maybe? This is just the reset on the right? What are these buttons? What are these buttons? Oh, the sleep and loop. Yeah, I mean, we've got the sleep function that we're messing with is pretty powerful too, but we've managed to put that in there. Reset and B for what, bussy? Reset and cool. Why would I put my micro in cool mode? I mean, I guess technically power saving should be cool. I know it says boot. All right, so bool. So boot mode, hold the button, plug. I may have to get the ESP tools in order to get into this thing. Oh, it definitely doesn't say woof. It says cool. That's cool. What does the cool button do? It's not showing up. Was it that easy to brick? Really? It says doot. Oh, okay. The button that says doot makes perfect sense to me, actually. Programming in Rust for ESP is also great. This software project is a mess. Its multi-platform nature makes it inherently a mess. I don't know. I have no desire to switch languages on this thing. Something programming nerds. Yeah, no, I don't. Who the fuck Rust? Let's pull out Ruby on Rails. Sorry, song's stuck in my head. Lodged in there, if you will, permanently. What, do I have to hit both buttons? Luke, you must use Pearl. Button, plug, capability. I'm looking at my device manager right now, expecting it to flash, but it is doing nothing of the sort. Now, when stuff like this happens, where like the microcontroller is doing absolutely nothing, my initial suspicion is that the USB cable's too long, because this does a loop around the back of the desk and goes to a hub that then goes to another hub that then goes all the way to the PC. So powered hubs give me the extreme distance on all of my peripherals that I need to stream. And so I've got the 7-port hub sitting here. If I plug the wire directly into this, I will of course get much better signal integrity. However, we already programmed the whole thing by going down, around, and back, and then over to here, and then back and forth, and then all the way to the USB-C connector that's at the microcontroller right here. So we do know that our hello world does function. So my suspicion in this case is that we have done an unfortunate thing to our micro. We set an internal microcontroller flag to turn Wi-Fi off. And so with Wi-Fi off, wLED has trouble. Which means, you know, really honestly, wLED needs a couple do whiles. I don't understand, the people who understand how this freaking code works need to run with the do whiles every now and then, especially if there's a very clear and present way that will nerf your entire... I mean, it's ludicrous to me that we would hold down the programming button and then plug this thing into power, and then that would somehow be usurped by our simple turn off Wi-Fi code, right? That shouldn't do anything. This thing should be coming up with the COM port before Wi-Fi is capable of bricking things. So that's a bit of an oversight. I don't like that. It should be in code acceptance mode right now, with the button held down. How else do you get it into the programming mode? Let's just check real quick. ESP32C3 programming mode. Oh, this is just somebody's question. What in the hell's going on? Okay. This is a lot of words. I don't feel like reading words right now. D plus and D, what? Oh, that's via USB. I think I'm doing it right though. Hold down the button and plug it in. I think that's what should happen. Did that not go off the fart? Maybe it did. According to some design documentation that I saw, USB commands must be sent to trigger the auto reset. What? Okay, that worked. Automatically by asserting DTR and RTS control lines in the USB to serial converter chip. Cannot get them to auto program and then reset. I mean, what if I just hit reset on the thing a couple times? Let's hit reset and see if anything happens. Nothing. Do it again. Do it a couple times. Isn't there like a more differenter programming mode that I can use? That's crazy that it doesn't show up on a COM port when we turned off Wi-Fi. Like, that's absolutely bonkers of this thing to not work after a reset. Although it's possible that in initiating the mode without Wi-Fi, it also reset the settings of the ESP. But then it should still be able to get into a hard programming mode though. There's been no physical damage to it. I can hold down the cool button here and plug in like that, and then let go of the cool button, and now we should be in cool mode. Boot mode. But there's nothing. I can't believe it was so easy to brick. A brick so easy, you can't believe it. But now we don't have a way to load code into there. Why does Wi-Fi need to function in order for it to show up as a COM port? I'm taking crazy pills. What the hell is going on here? Press and hold boot, press reset, release boot. Wait. Both. Boot and cat. I need a button pusher. Hold on. I need a second button pusher. Press both. Boot. Oops, hold on. I right clicked. There we go. Press and hold both boot and reset. Reset boot. Release reset. Release boot. Nothing. Try again. Press and hold boot. Press and hold. Press and hold reset. Press. Release reset. Release. Release boot. Release. Ba, 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 da. We killed it. Oh, Alt F4. I'll do it until stream stops. I will just continue to hit Alt F4. Oh, we didn't start up a YouTube chat. Oh my God, I'm sorry, YouTubers. Let's get that going. Sorry, anybody from YouTube. We'll get your chats up there in just a sec. There you are. There you are. How's it going, everybody? Lawn Dog, notification work perfect for YouTube. I've just been quiet. I'm multitasking. Cool. What have you there? Yeah, it's a dog collar with an LED strip. I thought we'd been over this. What's up, Madam U? Sorry I missed you. Is it possible to upload the code to AI? Fuck. What? What's the project? We're lighting up my dog's collar so that she's safe at night when I walk her. What are the crowns? 1, 3, and 2. Is the GPIO for the button you added the same as the boot button? No, it's a different button. It is a button that's intrinsic to the Zhao. The wake up button, however, is on. It's assigned from of certain pins, and so the assigned button to do these tasks is the same one as the GPIO. You guys are on screen now. Sorry, YouTube, I forgot to put you guys on screen. If I do that again, feel free to jump into Twitch and yell at me. I've not been ignoring you. Fuck's sake, you guys. I have not been ignoring you. I forgot to put you on screen, and so I haven't seen you. Man. Can you expand USB devices in Device Mangler and see if the USB JTAG is there? Does it use a JTAG? I thought it used its own little thing. Okay, let's see here. Ew, Twitch chat. You would just have to wait in there to tell me that I forgot to put the things on screen. That's all you would have to do. All right, so we're looking at USB devices. There's so many USB devices plugged into this computer. But I don't see, yeah, I don't think I see it. What was the specific thing that was short lurker? USB devices, device manager, see if USB JTAG. Yeah, there's nothing of the sort. I don't think it's physically bricked. Oh, in the code? Well, I don't trust AI as far as I can fucking throw the thing. And since it exists in thousands of graphics cards, you can get a sense for how far I could throw thousands of graphics cards. So not at all. I don't want to use AI at all. No. Okay, so apparently setting the flag to stop Wi-Fi is enough to completely take this thing out and brick it. I didn't think it would be that dire. I didn't think that our fooling around with light sleep modes would be that dire, because we've put this in a mode where it wasn't able to connect to Wi-Fi and the code stopped. It stopped because it wasn't able to get onto a Wi-Fi network. So my suspicion here was that when we put Wi-Fi to sleep, it would also put this thing to sleep. There's also the possibility that that one command that was in the factory reset was enough to kill it, but according to at least our testing, I was able to put it into factory reset before. So I have accidentally wLED underscore factory settings dot format. I have initiated that command before when I was messing around with it and trying to get the thing to work properly. I have actually initiated that, and then it went into a weird mode where it thought it only had 30 LEDs. I also have a bunch of the default settings set in this code. So when I'm uploading this, I now have, hopefully, factory reset puts it back into a mode where it knows how many LEDs it has, and all that stuff is already pre-configured, right? The problem being something else has happened. So do reboot equals true didn't initiate, although we unplugged it and plugged it back in. So without the ESP and the proto board, maybe something is drawing enough current that it's a threat to the functionality of the ESP. That's a possibility that I'm willing to try. A lot of oddities you're describing in this code. Yeah, there are, and we are working with it. It's just yeah. Okay, so let's try, the battery connections are still there, but they're not really connected. Like that, without anything, without me hitting the button. And I'm gonna look for the COM port. The thing is, like, my USB stuff isn't even flashing. I don't know what's going on with that. The LED is turning on when I have it plugged into everybody else. So now I'm going to hitting both of these buttons is very annoying. Both buttons, release reset, release boot. No activity from the COM ports. All right, I'm gonna plug into the hub directly without all these extensions. We're gonna shave away all of the possibilities of error. Yeah, I think I gave it my Wi-Fi credentials, but I don't know if a factory reset resets the flags that put it into Wi-Fi sleep. Have you tried turning it off and turning it on again? Well, I don't have anything to offer this thing. I don't think it's into me. All right, so let's plug this thing in. USB is, of course, in a superposition, so the first two tries are wrong. There we go. Hey, Celia, how you doing? Okay, so just plugging it in straight up directly into the USB hub. Device manager doesn't even flash. You know, usually if you're plugging and unplugging USB, you'll see the device manager kind of flash back and forth. So let me try 1, 2, release 1, release 2. Oh wait, COM7 showed up. What the heck? What? Okay, so let's hit it with some software then, before we lose it. Why did that happen? When you reset the device, you do dump everything on memory or anything it stores, like the Wi-Fi credentials. I think that WSLED FS format over there, I haven't altered that part of the code, so maybe that put in some settings that it didn't like. I don't know. When did you stop using the Arduino IDE? When wLED existed on Platform IO, and that's it. Otherwise, I would be using the regular Arduino IDE. I find this to be daunting and confusing. There's too much going on visually. I've had to dumb down the interface and zoom in on all the text in order to get it to be usable at all on stream. I hate it. I could probably learn to love it, but I like my notepad.exe software editing. I like my simplicity, and I like to, you know what? I would go to the library and I would sit down with a notepad and write down my code before I put it into an IDE. Do you have any idea what language is being used? It is an offshoot of C++. We call it C++, and it is basic Arduino code. Arduino IDE is so small and easy to use. Red light. We've got flickery red lights. And if I hit the button, does it do anything? Probably because the macros didn't take over because we did a factory reset. We didn't clear the EEPROM, but I don't know if it's going to be loading this stuff from the EEPROM in the way that it should. So if I check the wLED IP address, that's not it. That's not it. That's not it. This is it. It's showing orange. It shows my presets over here. If I change to blue, it changes to blue. What do you think about the possibility of just creating your own code? I want this because these macros are really, really cool. These presets are really cool. There's a lot of really cool things that happen within them. And we've got 95% of our functionality right now. The only thing that's stopping us is when we shut down Wi-Fi, wLED doesn't function. Now that may mean that I need to really get into the code or just abandon that it won't turn off Wi-Fi and sneak a much larger battery into the project. You know, if I had an 800 milliamp hour battery, which I have one right here. Sorry, song stuck in my head. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. And it's cringe too. It's pure cringe. Theater kid cringe. Cringe on a level that you guys haven't even interacted with. I should be fully embarrassed, but I am unabashed, unashamed of the things that I like. So do I want to attach this to my dog? I mean, we could just have a side-slung giant CR 175,000. I just happen to have these Panasonic cells. Panasonic's a pretty good cell. Or some other similar battery I could just tack to it. Yeah, wLED is so nice. Yeah, it's... So why don't we recognize the button? Do we not do the default settings properly? Let's take a look. Or I might have accidentally disabled the part of the code that just does something with the button, and so now nothing is happening. Time and macros, first of all. Yeah, so those need to be assigned their respective macros so that they can do stuff. So if I do that, then we'll get back to our regular old settings here, and I can actually just restore the settings. In terms of what LED preferences, 850 max PSU, WS28X, it's the right GRB order. 92 is the length that's put in there from my defaults. Data GPIO pin is correct. So all of this stuff I assigned, yeah, button 0 GPIO2, I assigned within the platform IO code now. And we're on a nightly build of wLED that's a couple weeks old. So what's going to happen is all these mods that I'm making, this is why I didn't want to do the mods like this. All these mods that I'm making, I'm going to have to carry over into like a later build if they improve something. What does the chase button do? Chase button? Yeah, it's hard to get all the features of wLED in your own code, especially like the interface. This interface is great. Oh, really? Huh. Default brightness. Okay, so back. Does it have my Wi-Fi? It does. Cool. Back. Oh, yeah, because I just controlled it. Duh. So the only thing it doesn't have... Oh, there we go. You don't have any presets yet. So that's what I need to restore. So if I go to security and updates, and I go to upload the file, it still won't initiate the preset, but well, I need the presets first. So to downloads, and then go to wLED config, presets there, open that up, upload, file uploaded. This is the power of wLED, the stuff that I'm doing right now. So we need to go to the next FX, which is 239. And so if I go into macros and I set button 0 to 239, and then off and on is 2. I'll have to go find it. I have to take a look at what number that is. Our deep sleep is, well, we don't have to configure deep sleep right now. I just want to check to see that the button actually works. The deep sleep would be toggle. So T is equal to 3, turns us into deep sleep. 2 of those 18650s. This is smaller than the 18650. The 18650 would be way too much battery for this system. Yeah, I would have to make like an enclosure for the battery, but okay, so now if I hit the button, if I hit the button, why? Change your FX. 239 next FX. FX is, oh, is it? It's actually no, that should be it. Next FX, and so back to config, time and macros, short, on off, button 0, 239. Did I plug it into the thing wrong? No, it's on the right thing. Everybody's plugged in and happy. If I go to a different effects down here, Rocktives? Nothing's happening. Wait a sec. Strobe Mega. What's going on? Okay, there it is. Okay. Trifade. Okay, so it is animating. Okay, we just see it doing stuff. I think my computer doth protest at the amount of current that it's requesting. That may be what's going on. There it goes. Okay, so this goes on, and then I hit the button once, and it should go to a different preset. It didn't. Sound React should work, and I think I did see it work for just a second there. Waterfall. Waterfall, waterfall, waterfall. Okay, maybe the sound is broken. Sound might be broken. Puddle peak, puddle peak. Oh, it works. Puddle peak. Puddle. Might not. I don't know. Springy? Springy. Yeah, the mic might be busted. Sonic Stream. Interesting. Let's see. LEDs, button GPIO2, push button. Disable internal pull up and down should be set. And then push button, is it inverted? I think it's a regular. How do I have this configured? Yeah, some of the configurations are a little bit hinky. Currently, the push button is set up as a pull down, and it's positive power going into it. That's how we get out of sleep mode, because we need positive power going into it. So it is actually disable internal pull up down needs to be enabled, and then it is just a regular push button. It's not push inverted. Turn LEDs on after reset, apply preset something. Let's see here. So, just missed one setting. And then in user mods, what do we got? Audio reactive. I2S 6521. I think that's correct. I don't want to... ESP 32C3 pin, Zhao pin out. Let's see, D2 is the button. And then, where's the thing? Okay, hold on. Let's see, LR is grounded. And it's these here, so D4, D6 is all the way at the bottom there. D6 goes to serial clock. So let's just double check that. What up, Haystack? How you doing? There was something that I wanted to show to Haystack and I forgot. What was I going to show to Haystack? I don't remember. I don't remember anything. Serial clock is on 21. Which is GPI of 21, and then it's 6 and 5. So 21, 6, and 5. Yeah, that's correct. 5 goes to SD. Oh boy, for me. I don't remember what it was. That's the problem. The computer should be able to power it up to 2 amps. So I don't think this is going to have that much of an issue. I2S M clock. I don't think we're using M clock. So this is correct. My default settings are mostly fine. The disable internal pull-up is one of the things that didn't come up in default. We have sound. We have sound. It's been correctly configured with sound. It's just maybe the squelch setting or the volume or something like that is not quite. Is it how to 3D print a new intake manifold? No, but that seems to be what all the YouTubers are doing. All these YouTubers are printing their own. Oh, we have stream streaks here. You guys crazy. 5 and 7 streams. How, Natsu? How did you do a 7? That was yesterday, but still. I'm on a 5 stream streak. I'm blown away. I do not know how you do that. Okay, my settings appear to be fine. Everything appears to be okay. I just, for some reason, when I push the button, we are not changing to the next preset. That concerns me because we now need to use this button in order to initiate Wi-Fi being turned off and not factory defaulting all of our settings. So I guess I could restore the settings that we had before. None of the pins have changed, so let me just do that. I saw the video, the guy printed a solid steel manifold for about what it cost to buy one. What the guy with the Bentley engine did, he made his flutes a little longer, so they kind of like crisscross each other, and he 3D printed those flutes, which is crazy. They were like sintered, powdered sintered metal print. Or were they plastic? I forget. I think they were powdered stuff, which is a little crazy. So let me try restoring my configuration settings. Are you what? What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean no response? What are you doing here? Huh? Connection to light failed. Why? What is going on? I did not hold that for 10 seconds, so there's no way. And now I'm getting a timed out dialog on the connection. What the heck? Yeah, it has an AP mode. I just put in the right credentials default. The Wi-Fi credentials were already resolved. They were already in the settings. So this thing was able to get back on the network very quickly. I'm confused because things seem to have gone in a weird direction. Very strange indeed. I guess this internal, it enabled internal pull-ups. So that's one thing. But if it enabled the internal pull-ups and it saw the button as a pull-up, it may have shut down the Wi-Fi modem for us. But I have it turning back on the Wi-Fi modem if it sits for more than 10 seconds. Let's just reset the device. It could be that the defaults, the checking that box might have screwed me over. Oh, here we go. It's back. Let's security and updates. Let's get our settings. And that would be config, open, upload. Okay, so we are now back to where we started, presumably. And so I should, by all means, be able to push the button. There we go, and the mode changes, okay. So why don't we run those settings by me again? Just so I know. (92) pin 8, push inverted. So it does have to be push inverted on that pin. Okay, so now I'm gonna, this is the first meaningful edit. So it was interpreting our thing as pressed down the whole time, which, by the way, it turned off Wi-Fi. Did you see that? It turned off Wi-Fi. It turned off Wi-Fi, but it was still animating. There's hope. There's hope. There's hope that this actually will work. So back to platform IO override, and we need to put push button inverted. Those are my Wi-Fi credentials. You guys can log in if you want. Let's see. Audio pin, DEM type, I2S, clock pin, deep sleep wake up pin, battery user mod. Let's see. Disable pull up, wake when high. Data pins, button pin, relay pin, that's the number of LEDs. Wi-Fi, so where's our pin modes are somewhere around here. Well, here's where I set it there. Button pin 2, relay pin's 4, and the relay mode is 1. And so I think this is the section. So now I need to actually find what that, oh God, I don't remember where that stuff is. There was like a default override. wLED override. Shut up, AI. This is the tutorial. Somewhere there's the... I know there's a sample, but I don't think this sample tells me all that I need to know. That's not what I'm looking for. I don't think this is the right one. I don't remember where the sample is, and I gotta like hunt it down. Yeah, these are like the relay pin, button pin IM, and then I need to set the button pin to internal whatever pull up one. libdeps. DM enabled. No, that's okay. So yeah, there's somewhere that you can find like a list of these settings, and I forget where it is. I forget where it is. Custom features? No, this is different. Internal segments API. Hey, oy, oy. There's so much to learn. Let's see what the example looks like. Okay, so ITC and SPI, PSRAM, IR, default, LED type, number of LEDs, POV display, PWM fan, audio reactive user mod. Nope. Oh, that's right, because we can go into the settings itself, or the program itself, and look at the different parameters. That's right. Because there's else if statements at the beginning of the setup in the top of the code that looks to see if these overrides exist. It looks to see if D data pins is equal to something or other, and then it'll override its own settings at the beginning of the thing. So what are we looking at? We're looking at specific features, built-in features, data pins, multiple outputs, button pin, IR pin, relay mode, relay, open drain, LED built-in. Oh, built-in LED. No. I'm looking at the what? Okay. It would be I just pin mode, I guess, but I don't know how to set that. And then they don't tell you what it is in the default thing, in the default overrides. It's great. It's great. Oh wait, no, wait, data pin, but where's button pin? Button pin equals 4. So we're going to have to figure out where it loads that in. Oh, that's really annoying. It'd have to be like disable internal pull-ups, and I don't think that's in this. Would it be at the beginning of button? Let's check. Nah. It's the physical I/O button CPP, handle button. This is override sample. Let's take a look, just search for pull-up. Huh. Internal. Nothing. Son of a bitch. Well, I know where to get to that. It's just the problem is what I'm looking for, the problem right now is that in the overrides, the configuration overrides, you can put in your default settings. And so I can just hit upload and all of those settings are already set so the thing functions properly. This is really important because we are playing with forces that mankind should never have the power over. We are playing with sleep modes that are so potent that they can put our microcontroller under forever. It will just permanently put it to sleep, and I have to plug in with physical pins in order to reprogram the micro, which is all well and possible. It's just very, very annoying. What I want to have happen is when we upload our code, our microcontroller does not interpret a button as being permanently pushed down. And so if the button is permanently pushed down, then you have these timing modes that can trigger. And so you can accidentally factory reset your micro if things aren't configured properly. The way we have it configured right now, we have one button. So when the microcontroller goes to sleep, it listens for a signal on that one button. If it enables its internal pull-up resistor, then it can think that we are pressing that button when we're not. Although I don't, maybe not. Just bear with me. This is it's just the exercise. I need it to disable those internal pull-ups because I put a physical pull-up on it, or a pull down on it because it's active high. If it enables those internal pull-ups, then it thinks that it's active. And when I push the button, nothing happens. So that was what was going on. That's why I wasn't able to push the button and have things happen. And we need it to be that way because it will not wake up from sleep unless it has that configuration. Although if the internal pull-up, that would just mean it's unable to go to sleep, right? But again, you just reverse one or two things and the whole thing can just take out the system permanently. So I want to make sure that these default settings that I've got in the platform IO overrides are making it work. Yeah, can't wake up. Save me, pull my pin and save me from this sleep mode. So while we are trying to inject a little tiny piece of code that'll turn off Wi-Fi, that's our ultimate goal, I need to circle back and make sure that default parameters are established that allow this thing to work properly. This is all getting us towards the dog collar. The ultimate goal here is to have this really cool light up dog collar, and it should be possible that we shut down the Wi-Fi modem on this thing and it makes it draw way less current, meaning that the LEDs get the lion's share of the current and my dog can go for a long walk at night. That's what we're doing. It's very complicated stuff, and yeah, we're getting there. Back to busting knuckles. Good luck. Hope you get things running, or whatever your goal is. So yeah, that's very complicated to explain, and I know, you know, chat thinks I'm doing stuff that other stuff than what I'm actually doing, but we have been hurtling towards our goal. Okay, I don't know where this disable internal pull down is controlled from. So it would be wLED override disable internal. Why can't I type? What is going on? It's like I'm losing control of my hands. It's because I'm typing around a glass of water. If I move the glass of water, I can probably type a lot better. God, that was really frustrating. Better handling and documentation of internal pull-ups. This is not what I'm looking for. Docs. Knowledge. Okay. This is not what I'm looking for. What a wLED platform IO overrides. Override sample main. Is the code in GitHub? Yeah, it's oh, I don't know what commands we have, but this is wLED that we're looking at. My code, my personal code, the one that we're working on right now, you can't get to it. It's on my computer. What I'm looking at are these overrides and how I can change the. I think I'm just going to have to go into the individual section and look for where it looks for this stuff and see what I can do. What? I think there are pre-made wLED modules, yeah, but I mean, wLED is so configurable. Of course, I'm doing it on a breadboard. That's the easiest way to do it. You can buy wLED controllers, sure, but again, they don't have inherent battery modes and stuff like that. The battery user mod is something that we added on. Clock pin 0, data line 2-wire LEDs, digital LED strip types, web sockets, OTA, blah, 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 blah. LED pin is 2, button pin 0, touch pin T0, IR pin, relay pin, relay mode. See, it's like these settings are, this is a person putting together their own override.ini. I guess we're going to need to see where it loads in from the override ini. So that would be, I mean, that would be in button. It's the thing we've already got open, button.cpp. But maybe there's another setup that we're missing. These are going to be big. See, this is what If def pixel counts changes default LED count. Data pins, LED types. So color order, use Ethernet, disable ESP now. This is where those platform IO overrides come in handy. I am looking to see if we can find out where it sets the internal pull-up. Internal, nope, okay. So it's not in config. Colors constant, DMX, no. HTML stuff. Image loader, no. Improv. My config. Oh. That's nothing. Node structure, no. Net debug, no. Pin manager. $82.66. Okay, so we're getting there. We're getting close. Debug printf tag pin owner. This is just me looking up what thing I need to put into override, the platform IO override, in order to disable internal pull-ups. The code exists, it's in here. I just need to know what I need to say. Well, pulled down. What? Config IF target ESP32. Pin manager.h maybe. Oh, fun. Okay. User mod ID unspecified. User mod example. User mod ID fixed that. Oh my God. What is all this crap? Deallocate channels? No. Is pin okay? Nobody asks how the pins are. Everybody asks what the pins are. Three parameter GPIO output owner tag. This is like we're digging into the brain of God and we have no idea what we're doing. Huh. Playlist presets remotes set. What is that doing? Handle settings set. Uh-huh. Color order type skip. So Arduino RGSP. Holy hell. Oh man, okay. I know I can get this set, but it's just not anywhere. They don't give us the possible commands. Wasn't there like a list of I think there was like a list of commands that I could set somewhere, like one of these things about wLED with all the list of like everything that I could do. I don't know what the page is. I don't know where to pull that up. Because yeah, right now I'm going through the deep stuff and I probably shouldn't be. Kind of SOL in that one. All right, well anyway, we got that working. We can actually now just disable the Wi-Fi using the 6-second push. And we can see if it still animates stuff after that. So I'll just go into regular Wi-Fi. I got a little distracted by that. I would have liked to have that default setting go in there so that I don't accidentally like brick it again. But right now, we at least have the communication established with this thing. I can change the color of the LEDs to, well, okay, this one isn't very animated. And I also don't know why the audio reactive stuff isn't really reacting. Oh yeah, it is. You can't really see that, but like, if I put this in a brighter mode. Okay, so it is reacting to audio, and it's just fine. I think that internal pull-up thing was confusing it. So let's press this for 6 seconds. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It went to sleep. Okay, so that is reacting. It seems a lot dimmer. I think the computer can't, or my plug strip isn't really powering it all that much. Now, technically, the Wi-Fi should be disabled on this thing now. If I pressed it long enough. Now, Wi-Fi appears to be working. Yeah, it seems to be working. I need to make sure that something stays up so that I can actually see what's going on. Okay, here we go. Aurora works. I am so spooky. Okay, so this is Wi-Fi still on. Quick press puts us into the next preset. Long press puts us to sleep. One press brings us back. So 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I don't think that's disabled the Wi-Fi modem. See, now we're back. It's hard to see, but why is it flashing? I guess that's just the flashing mode. Okay, so that's flashing, and then if I change the color to green, connection to light failed. Woohoo, wait a minute. That might have worked. That might have worked. Connection to light failed. This thing is still animating. Switch to the next preset. It goes to the next preset. I may have cooked. Ladies and gentlemen, I may have cooked here. Okay, so now if I unplug and plug back in, I don't have anything that should enable Wi-Fi, but it might be that when it boots, it specifically enables Wi-Fi. So let's see what happens if I hit refresh on this. It's back. So we didn't permanently disable Wi-Fi, unfortunately. But we do have a system by which this thing will turn itself off from the Wi-Fi mode. Let's see how much power that saves. So just when I reset, this thing goes back through all of its modes. It was that factory default thing that messed us up before. That's what put it into a weird mode. So now we're in safer territory now. We know that this device cannot be bricked by us, and even if it does brick itself, I can hold down the button for a long time. Having power off, maybe if power off should be on a double tap or something. I don't know. I can reassign that, but right now I want to see what the milliamp bandwidth is. So we're going to hook up right here, which is where I've got my 2 power pins from the battery, the quote-unquote battery in this thing. I haven't programmed in a macro yet for the battery to shut off when it gets too low. We haven't gotten there yet. So we're going to do a full 4.2 volts. What the? Red light, Syphilid 8. Saying, what's up, brother? Hey, what's up with you? Syphilid 8. 58 months. Thank you so much for the 58 months of genuine support and backing and telling me that I'm cool and just being there for me. Thank you. Okay, all right, let's plug this thing in. Thank you. I really appreciate the support of this channel. I do. Okay, so power on. The power supply's off right now. Wait, this isn't. There we go. There we go. Okay, so hooked up to power. And power supply on. That goes into a default mode. And we are drawing 290 milliamps. And so long press will turn this off. And then I've got to turn it back on and hold for 6 seconds. So 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. 230 milliamps. Let's go into a different mode. Okay, check that out. With no radio modem going, 0.8 milliamps. Hey, 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 hey. We may have solved low power. So now if I go into a more sparkly mode, give me sparkles. I don't know if the Bluetooth is being enabled too, but it's not freezing. That user was wrong. It may help that we put it into a Wi-Fi mode first and then go into this, but now I can have modes that aren't as intense on the LEDs, so I gotta find one. Because this is drawing 140 milliamps. So if I ran this on the dog, this would give us 2 hours. Not quite 2 hours, but it is a significant amount of time. This thing is still on fire. I don't know if the Bluetooth modem is still going, but we couldn't find any of those commands for Bluetooth. So if I do it in this mode, it's drawing 100 milliamps. 100 milliamps. 100 mil. That's awesome. That means that we have 2.5 hours of this. Isn't it tedious? Hey, this is great. We did it, chat. We did it. I actually accomplished what I wanted to accomplish today, which is to test this thing without the Wi-Fi going, and it's drawing 80 milliamps. That's freaking rad. Guys, listen, this is way cooler than I think any of you are giving it credit. We're saving power. We're using low power modes. Also, less of a fire hazard near my dog's neck. Oh, that's cool as hell. So now if I hold this for 10 seconds, so I have to put it to sleep and then hold the button, because when I hold the button, it initiates the sleep mode, and then that doesn't count as my long press. So I need to put it to sleep, and then I need to press it, and it'll come back from sleep mode, and then that's my long press. So if I long press, put this in the sleep mode, we're now asleep, and now I press and hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let go. Technically, yeah, it's on Wi-Fi already. Oh, that's cool as hell. So if I go to a like no light mode, we are drawing 140 milliamps. I can't control it as easily in the other way, but so I mean, I could re-enable the AP mode maybe. I'm looking at the wLED company, I guess, show home lighting and what can be done with these types of lightings now. I understand what people are doing with their houses. There's some pretty crazy stuff you can do with this, yeah. And you can have sort of a more cohesive and synchronized LED display amongst a bunch of different stuff. I mean, that's definitely going to find its way into the server rack when I redo it. There will be a wLED controller in that thing, because then I can have audio reactive stuff going on in there. So audio reactive blurs, 150 milliamps. I think when I go through this, it's going to select a different preset. I would love to see what blurs does. I could make it, we could change the default mode in playlist. That's the next step. And also the behavior of this thing where I have to put it to sleep in order to initiate the long press. I don't know if that's going to change. I think that will stay. So if I long press, let go, it goes to sleep. Now I do 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, let go. See, it put it back into the default boot up preset. I don't know how many times I have to push the button to get back to blurs, but we are drawing some of them draw less current. We need a playlist that's all of the current conscious displays. Like this is not good. That's 230 milliamps that I don't want to be drawing for my poor battery. This one's 180. I guess that's acceptable, but it's not very exciting. You can see the heat going back and forth on it. That's hilarious. Very, very, very cool. This is good. This enables the entire project. This is what I was hoping we could accomplish. Now at 80 milliamps, is there still Bluetooth on this thing running? I don't know. I thought the C3 has Bluetooth, but it doesn't look like wLED has anything to do with Bluetooth. I don't think it does anything with Bluetooth. So it probably should be disabled by default. This one is 100 milliamps and it's like perfect. This would be a really good one for the dog. That one's every ounce of current that I have. Beep, beep, beep. This one is terrible. That one would be terrible. The dog's gonna get hit by a car. Meow, 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 meow. Well, this is if my dog wanted to pull over other dogs. It's the Rozzers. Come on. Yeah, I gotta go through and find presets that are good, which probably means a whole session of me sitting here. Ah! That's maybe not good for the other dogs. Of course, these presets are all listed on the wLED site. They show you even with little animated GIFs of these things running. Corsair dog. Yeah, that one's bad. We're bringing back disco floors. Get in the car. I'm putting these under some translucent panels. That's still 230 for some reason, whereas it used to be. Oh, that one's actually pretty current conscious. That's a good one. Just like cyber stuff going on. I'm looking for one of the like more sparkly ones and have it. Yeah, here we go. This, I think the next one's audio reactive. Maybe not. This one's like 100 milliamps, so that'll give us two plus hours running on this thing. So I can finally put all this stuff into the hardware. I'll just need to do a little bit of jockeying of these modes in order to make them do the right thing. I'll have to have it shut down Wi-Fi at some point during its boot cycle. Maybe not immediately after it turns it on. I think that might be key to keeping these animations running, is that Wi-Fi is disabled somewhere somewhere during its functionality, and it doesn't like default out. Because when it doesn't have an AP, none of these things animate. Very, very cool. I think we succeeded in a very large way today. We are doing very large success mode plus. Yes, good. Did he just forget human language? I think he did. I think he just forgot. It's not that he doesn't know what to say, he just doesn't have the words. Wah! Yoink, yoink, yoink. Yoinking and sploinking. Yeah, these, so on camera, these are a little bit washed out, but they do look pretty good IRL. I did some Googling. wLED doesn't natively support Bluetooth, but there are forks that do. I don't necessarily want it to do anything with Bluetooth. I just want it to shut down the Bluetooth modem. So if the software doesn't support it, I guess maybe it won't be enabled on the ESP, so maybe by default it's just off. I don't know if there's anything that explicitly shuts down Bluetooth. I just want to know that my 8260, not 82, my ESP32C3 isn't wasting any resources on Bluetooth, and I guess maybe it's not. What the? What was it? It just, what, they just kind of like travel? Oh, with sound. No. No, they go all the way to the other side of the strip, stop, go, wait, we forgot something, and then go the other way, and I go, wait, we left the oven on. Let's go turn off the oven. You left the front door unlocked. All right, let's go. Let's get out of here. Weird. That probably looks much different when you have many, many strips. I think some of them are designed for lots and lots of strips next to each other. Like there's one that does like DNA. I think that may be some of the ones that we're looking at. Oh my God. That's kind of cool. This is like, you guys can't see it, but it's doing like flashy RGB stuff. It's kind of frenetic. I like it. There are so many presets in here that I am never going to be able to get to any of the audio reactive stuff towards the end of the list. This one's kind of cool. It's just like juggling. Oh my God. Yeah. Come on. There's got to be a good audio reactive one in here somewhere that I can see what the current draw is. Because these ones that light up fully solid are maxing out our current draw. For some reason, the MOSFET is doing something where it's limiting the amount of current that can get into my system by 200, and it was 300 milliamps the other day. I don't know what happened to the FET since then. You know, setups move, things change, I guess. Connections are a little bit shaky. But this is a good mode. I like this one. These sparklies like this. This is 150 milliamps, so that'll get me not quite 2 hours. They are computationally and amperage-wise expensive presets, a lot of these. Bluetooth could be useful for like a phone app. The way that wLED does it or wants to do it is they want to connect to Wi-Fi, and then on Wi-Fi you can open up that the website that I've been fooling with, but there's also a phone version of that website. So if Willow was able to get on my Wi-Fi, I could pull out my phone and, you know, alter the settings. We could also, what was that? What did I grab? We could also enable an infrared remote if I really wanted to. I could run around with an infrared remote and change her settings. But I think just the interface with a single button that changes the presets is the best of what we can expect. That way I can have a bunch of presets that are not current monsters, and I can have just it randomly pluck through that playlist. Well, regardless of the energy of the Bluetooth, low energy Bluetooth or not, I don't want any Bluetooth because it's a current sap on my my singular tiny little battery that's going to run the show. I think this thing will be adequate. We'll have it default auto off at 10% battery. That way it'll be drawing micro amps from the thing, and that'll enable it to, you know, go into a deep sleep so that I can hit the recharger before it deep cycles the battery. We don't, the last thing you want on a lithium ion battery is to deep cycle it because it might not come back. That's why the battery management systems prevent that sort of thing. And why it's a little unpredictable on when your lithium cells are going to fully discharge, because they have to set something that, in spite of the user, still protects your battery's life. Because people will look at that percentage as a goal and say, all right, I'm just going to use my phone until it dies. And you don't want that to be an unrecoverable discharge. Which, boy, you never want to see that on a medical forum either. That one's going to draw, yeah, 200 milliamps. The ones that max it out are bright, but they're also unnecessarily draw-y. People are like, your dog is going to be scared of the visuals. That's kind of cool. They kind of like shift. It's still maximizing maximum current draw. That one's a little frenetic. Is it audio reactive? Might be. I don't know. This one might be where if you have multiple strips, it'll have something that you can actually see. And I could define these as being next to each other in the software. I haven't played with that yet. I like the sparkly ones though. 170 milliamps, so that's under 2 hours. This is still a lot for the battery to do. Very cool, very cool. It's too bad I can't initiate Wi-Fi by having the like USB plugged in, because if I plug it into USB, it'll try to recharge the battery. And if it did that, I would love to have it also turn on Wi-Fi. And then that, instead of the button, you would have it plugged in. Is there a way to do that? I don't know if I trust you. Yeah, I don't trust you. How to run code the moment ESP32 is plugged in. Writing my little test project where I want to scan networks. I was wondering if there's a way when you build the code and flash the ESP, that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for it to initiate a function when USB is plugged in. ESP32 to run the program as soon as power, when it's connected to external power. No, that's not what I'm looking for. Detect USB power with code. How do I detect through code if USB power is plugged in? I can tell with my own eyes. Do you not understand why people ask these? I hate that. People don't see the utility in having something where if I plug this in and wake it up, it'll know that it's plugged in via USB and has been woken up, and so it'll initiate the Wi-Fi connection. That's kind of what I'd want, is that if you plug it into either an external charging power brick or USB with data on it, it'll enable the part of the code that connects to Wi-Fi. Because that way I could have it so that if I plug it into the charger, I can go in and mess with the settings, right? I think that would be a good way to do things. I have this working now on the Jow, Nerf, whatever. Tells you if the device is charging or unplugged. Pretty sure the PMI or BMU is similar to the ESP32. Sleep does not work after updating. The battery does read and track well. Notice the 0 in the lower left corner. Plugged. What? Okay, I don't know what any of that stuff is. ESP32 S3. It leads to crashes. Great. This is within the Studio Express code. I don't know if I'm able to get to that get to the function that would enable that. That would be really cool, though. I guess I got to drop that idea. That's for establishing serial, how to power your dev kit, USB-C hookup guide. What? You need a USB-C hookup guide. You plug it in, you jerk. ESP80C cal get vref. I don't, so where's, I guess that's in the Expressive site. If I go there, not you. So we would have, you're looking at ADC calibration get vref. System API, heat memory, sleep modes, system time, memory copy, watchdogs. I don't think that's what I'm looking for. What is SOC? I don't know what that is. Oh, I'm in the right section. System on clock or something. float voltage, calibrate raw to voltage, ADC read, ADC cares. If voltage is greater than 3.5, and then, where are you getting this from? There's not a more direct way. There's not like a USB. Oh, that's in your code. See, looking at a voltage level, I'm not too sure about that. I don't know about looking at a voltage level. I mean, I guess that is pretty definitive. If you plug in, it's definitely going to be up there. ADC shared power. Hardware calibration. Calibration V1. I wonder what ADC shared power is. I don't know what SOC is either. There's a 5-volt pin on the board. Isn't that floating when on battery power? If so, just go to an input pin. We already actually have a pin that is dedicated to monitoring the battery, but I don't think that'll go to 5 volts, will it? What is, actually, if Wi-Fi is turned off right now, I'd have to hold down the button for 10 seconds to turn it back on, and then we can see what the battery voltage reports in the battery monitoring plugin that I added. Let's just look at this first. Hold on. Does it only show up on these? What? Oh, can I click on the individuals? No. What is, I don't understand. They don't tell me anything. Let's, yeah, okay, let me turn Wi-Fi back on and let's check the voltage when we're plugged in. So I am going to go here, and I'm going to long press to put it to sleep. And then I'm going to go 1, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wi-Fi's back on. And so with Wi-Fi back on, I can go to change the color. Yep, and it changes color. That is so cool. That works. It just works now. Oh, that's awesome. That is, oh, I'm so happy. I'm so pleased with that. You guys have no idea. Okay, so now I'm going to go to config user mods. No, wait. It's somewhere else. Where's the battery stuff? Info. That's right. Okay. So here's where you can actually see the different properties of. So battery level, 110%, 4.3 volts. Let's take that down to like 50%. So I'm going to go down to like 3.9, I guess. .3.8 volts. And this isn't going to instantly see the voltage change. It updates every 30 seconds. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And ohm. 109, what is it, 4.2 volts? That's not, this thing very definitively says 3.7. Your calibration is terrible. I need to change the settings on this thing. Let's go to the battery mod. User mods, battery. Deep asleep. Battery, pin 3, type. Lithium ion. Minimum voltage is where we're at 3.7 right now, but max 4.2. And then since we haven't told it what kind of battery we have, because I didn't put the override setting in there properly, I guess, I am going to need to reboot, I guess. So, all right, save this. And let's, I'll just hit the reset button on this. Oops, missed it. Boop. Okay. Back. Info. 3, 2, 1. Why are you init? Why are you init in it? Give it a second to kind of get its settings, I guess. Yeah, there's so for the battery user mod, I put in a voltage divider that goes to one of the analog pins, and that's all defined in the stuff. Where is that? Battery pin 3. You say requires reboot, but I've already rebooted. Maybe I need to like fully power it down to reboot. I don't think I do. Where's info? Info? There we go. 60% battery. Okay, so we're at 60% battery. What happens when I plug it into a power source? It is going to try to charge my voltage regulator. Yeah, we dropped to 0 amps. 25, 24, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 10, 9. So much counting. That didn't really help. That put it up to 3.9 volts. So that puts it up to 3.97, even though it should probably be 4, but I guess all the LEDs are on. It's the counting stream, I know. So battery level being like suddenly 100%, I don't think that's where we can get it. You were talking about something else though. Yeah, okay. So I'm gonna unplug this and go back to... Nice. Yeah, see, it's like closer to 5 volts or 4 volts for the battery charging. But now this is going to drop down to like much lower. Why is it almost 4 volts? It should be 3.7. Oh, whatever. Okay, anyway, leaving that alone. Yeah, I'm just wondering if there is a way that the ESP can, if there's like a macro or an API or something like that, that we could put into the deep sleep mode that would enable Wi-Fi when we plug in an external power source. That would be very neat. That would be a nice thing that I would be able to do. I feel like something has to exist within the ESP, but I don't know if I'm gonna have to do some like deep searching in order to find it. Please go away. wLED working. Oh, it's another wLED question. How can I use USB for data only? No. I want it to execute code when it's plugged in. And the way Cilia is saying to do it is ESP ADC calibration raw to voltage, and then you read if the voltage is greater than a certain amount, it'll run something. Which I guess, but I think the better way to do it is there's probably some kind of a macro that I can run within, you know, the expressive stuff. The problem is it's not necessarily extensively documented. USB serial JTAG supported, but then if I plug it into a power supply, that doesn't do that. So let's see, power. ADC shared power is what I want to look at, but I can't, I don't have any other information here about it. Not found. What? This is TI. This is something else. Oh, so it wasn't able to find it. So it's like, hey, did you mean something else? Okay. Yeah, I mean, maybe there's a like a pin that goes to 5 volts, and I could check to see if that pin is at 5 volts. That would use up another pin, though. I don't think I'm running out of pins. Yeah, serial JTAG is connected, but then when I put a power supply on it to recharge, because I recharge these things with power supplies sometimes, then it wouldn't actually work. Although the use case is that we're turning on the Wi-Fi when it's plugged in. So in that case, I guess it would be okay, if not just a little bit more specific. So what happened in Gizmo is that we now have, I went into the brain, I went deep into the brain of this thing, into the long press modes, and I was able to turn off Wi-Fi and have it still run the pattern, which is all systems go for creating the dog collar now. With the current hardware that we have, without me having to find another battery, like a bigger battery, this thing can draw as little as 100 milliamps while it's running LEDs. I think what happened, you know, that one user that was so insistent upon the thing not working without Wi-Fi, I think that a key part of this is having it boot up and get into the pattern and then disable Wi-Fi. So I'm gonna have to figure out where in the code I will have it default Wi-Fi to off. And I could potentially even make my own setting that can do that, like in the menu. But yeah, I'll have it, I don't know where I'm gonna put this yet. This is gonna be a challenge, but having it turn off that Wi-Fi and then still function. But I don't wanna have to push the thing in order to put it into a lower power mode. You can see it's even getting dark out right now. That's the season that we're in, huh? This is huge though, this is big. It's gonna be a little bit of I'm gonna have to really hunker down and do a lot of this kind of reading about what I can and can't do. Because my thought was that Wi-Fi could default be off, but when you plug it into USB, it would then turn on Wi-Fi, because then it has an external power source and it doesn't care how much current it's using. In addition to that, I'm gonna need to make myself a list of presets that are lower power. But getting it to do that from default, we can now explore. But yeah, this is drawing as little as, right now it's drawing 150 milliamps with this one, but if I disable Wi-Fi, it gets to 100. Pretty cool. I just need to have it be smart about disabling Wi-Fi. So that was big. That was a kind of a struggle today, but we managed to do it. We managed to do it in kind of our own way, our own microcontroller-y way. I mean, like, push comes to shove, I could always give this a second button. I could use one of the touch surface buttons, like somewhere else in the case, so that if you put your finger here, it'll change something about what the visuals are doing. I don't really want to necessarily do that. The other thing that I could do is I could put a photodiode on this, and then I would have remote control, but I'd be tempted to put it on a quick double press. That's actually, if nothing else works, putting it on a tap would be a way to disable Wi-Fi. So you'd have to turn it on, and then you have to double tap, and then it would turn off Wi-Fi. But I'd rather have it off default. The question is, can I put it in there to turn off default without hamstringing the animations? Because when we didn't give it an AP to sign into, everything stopped. And that user that was being very smug was correct. But now that we have it on a button, we were able to turn off Wi-Fi after it's done all of its handshaky stuff. So where's the remote for my dog collar? It makes it, the remote is more tempting because when I'm outside and Willow's off leash running around with this thing, I could change the visual mode remotely without having to use the energy of Wi-Fi. What do you mean? I think Hassan said that recently. Yeah, that's a shock collar joke. Plenty of people have said that. Pretty cool though. I gotta make something that's gonna just constantly change color palettes though, because the monochrome stuff that's going on right now with the, as long as Willow looks fabulous, she will sparkle better than any other dog out there, man. She's gonna look awesome. And it'll be audio react. That is a seizure. Oh my God, just put the Bosch on that one. The ones where the whole collar does RGB are not gonna work because they're way too hungry. I mean, they do work, they would be okay, but this would be kind of a good defaulty kind of one to do. Although that's maxing out the current draw. Why is the maximum amount of current going down? Maybe it's because the voltage went down. I think it's because the voltage went down. This thing is only drawing 300 milliamps max, and I think my MOSFET is what's limiting that. Very, very cool. Super awesome. So now if I turn it off, long press turns off, and I turn it on and hold for 6 seconds. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now it is in low power mode. And obviously these settings are going to have to change, so it's default. And if I put it into a lower LED count thing. What up, Plus Master? One that doesn't use a lot of LEDs. This one's, we always settle on this one. This one would be pretty good though. Should be visually identifiable. We are drawing 100 milliamps. Bada bingus, look at that. How cool is that? 100 milliamps. We did it. We did something. We actually succeeded in something, chat. Come on, you guys got to take the victory lap with me. We almost never get to take victory laps. The way that we did this is I went into the Platform.io code in the very, very, I'm going to say badly written. I know I'm no saint, but this is not very well written. The button.cpp, which is where the long factory reset timing and the long AP timing are, we disabled the long factory reset. 6 and 10 seconds, are you kidding me? You have to be between 5 and 10 seconds in order to not fully brick your wLED hardware. That's crazy. So I completely disabled that mode and I turned it into Wi-Fi on and off for those two. And so having done that, it appears as though we are able to put this into a low power mode. I'm able to long press and let go before any of those timings, and it will go into a deep sleep. So if I do this and I let go, I didn't press it long enough. 1 Mississippi. That's deep sleep. And now it is drawing microamps. Oh, look, it's in C. Yeah, it's Arduino EC, but it's Platform.io, and it's for multiple different hardware setups, which makes it inherently just a complete mess. Press to turn on. We turn back on. And I think actually we're no longer in low power mode. I'm not sure. Hold on. Let's put it on a mode where it actually like doesn't have a lot of LEDs on. I need to make that playlist because I'm getting real sick of these defaults. Because this scrolls through one at a time, the list of defaults. Yeah, this is still drawing 150 milliamps, I think. There we go. 160 milliamps. Yeah, so it's definitely still, the Wi-Fi has turned itself back on when I turned it off and on again. So I'm going to have to build in the Wi-Fi sleeping mode somewhere. Did you ever use that ESP IDF environment? No, I don't think I ever have. I haven't messed with that. Most of my ESP stuff that I've worked with has been through Arduino. Like, I try to keep it as simple as possible and just use the default Arduino IDE to a fault. It's not habit, it's me just being scared of progress. So we got a lot of work to do around here, but we did make a pretty big accomplishment there. I'm gonna have to noodle around with code on my own. I'll probably look at that tomorrow. ESP IDF is okay, but Arduino's better. I just like my minimalistic IDEs, you know, it's just me and like a notepad writing code. I feel like I'm more connected to it that way. With something like Platform IO, all these configurations and stuff, I still need to figure out getting the. Let me make a note of this actually. Need to set button default as, and then I gotta refer it to the setting on the UI. Oh, but this is gonna die on me. Oh no, it turned it back on. That's right. What is it again? Time and macros. Time for macro. No, that's not time and macros. Back. It is LED, and then we've got our button, and then it's push inverted. Push inverted, and then I also need to add a Wi-Fi setting or defaults or something. Just gonna save that right there just in case I like have a power outage. So we need to build in the deep sleep user mod. I'm gonna modify the deep sleep user mod, and then I can build in all of my platform IO overrides and have it put Wi-Fi to bed in a particular way there too. You can use the boot button for input too. It's only needed when resetting, but when reset isn't pressed, it can be a normal GPIO. So that could be used for on and off. Here's the thing is we don't really have access to these buttons from the enclosure. You know, I'm gonna want the enclosure to be at least a little bit waterproof just in case Willow jumps into a puddle or it's raining. So this thing has like a door over the USB and everything. That's why, I mean, really the coolest thing that would be possible would be, or I wish the cool thing that would be possible is if you plug it into external power, you could then have it turn on Wi-Fi only when power's plugged. You unplug it from external power, it turns off Wi-Fi again. That would be the coolest way to do it. Yeah, we're trying to fit it into the original enclosure, which fits inside of the leash over here. And the Seed Studio Zhao is 1 millimeter off. They made this enclosure just a little bit. So I think what I can do is I can just shave this down with something. I don't know what I'm gonna use right now. Maybe I can get a knife vertically on this and then get in from the side and cut it. And then I can have, or I could probably actually just press fit it and have this thing bowed out a little bit. But yeah, I want it to fit in here so that I've got my one on-off button. The recharging LED may not be very visible from the side. We tried earlier on stream, when this thing is plugged in to recharge, I think this eventually goes solid. Oh, there we go. This is really, really bright, and it shines through the plastic. You can see it through this plastic. You can, I guess sort of. Maybe it's only the top. Well, on the other one, you can see it pretty clearly. Yeah, it's almost made for it. The 1 millimeter is really pissing me off, though. It's so close. That's why I wanted to put like accelerometers and stuff on it too, because we can get the full functionality of wLED. So when my dog starts running around, these LEDs can be like reacting to it. But we dropped the accelerometer because it requires going a little deeper into the code than I wanted to. It seems like some of these user mods are like, hey, you can use this, you can call on my code using this line of code. And it's like, we don't want to do that. We want to interact with the API on the user interface of wLED. That's what I thought we were going to be doing. Turns out we can't. But adding like accelerometers and light sensors and stuff, having it be able to like dim the LEDs when it's really, really dark out, that might be kind of cool. Oh, and then disable internal pull up down. That I need to keep these notes because these are all things that we discovered today that first of all weren't set. I don't know where that is in this code. So I've got to do a lot of searching around in code in order to find this. And I guess just there's no getting around the fact that I would have loved this to be something that I could just tag on to wLED if the modifications that I was doing could exist like as a user mod or something. But I'm disabling some functions here that are kind of a mess, which is the push and hold for 10 seconds thing that I can't get off of this button. It's like a default thing. I wish I could disable it somewhere in settings, but it just won't let me do that. So I could also print a similar case. Push comes to shove, I could order a larger battery, order a battery that's the size of this entire thing. So instead of this little shorty guy, I could have it come out to here, and that'll give us much more battery life. And then I can put a prototyping board next to the Zhao, right? And I can move the Zhao back a little bit. So we could have from the very back of the enclosure, we could have the Zhao prototyping board, bigger battery underneath it. It's possible that I might actually end up doing that using the dimensions that we have in Fusion 360, and then I can just 3D print my own case, in which case I can free up things for like a second button maybe, or, you know, stuff like that. But I really just the intuitiveness of having Wi-Fi only turn on when you plug the thing into external power. I like that. There is a 5-volt output pin. So maybe if I have a spare pin, I could put a voltage divider on it and, you know, bring it down to 3 volts and then hit it up on one of the IO pins and then make my own user mod that checks that IO pin and turns on Wi-Fi. So I could have my own user mod that loads in when everything else is done and this thing is started up, it's booted up, the ESP did all its fun stuff, and then my user mod goes, hold on, turn off Wi-Fi. Let's check this pin. Okay, turn on Wi-Fi. That may be the way, that's actually a good idea. That's a really good idea. I like that idea a lot, actually. Hold on a minute. This is too much information. Okay. Voltage divider to user mod. Hold on, something just happened. What was that? Oh, Idealite. Yeah, that way, from... All right, because I could put that in a user mod and then it's got its own settings in the console and everything, so I could have it assigned to a particular pin. And then my user mod will turn on and off Wi-Fi. I don't know what kind of like setup flags there are for when the thing is booted fully. There might be something that I could check to see, and you could check that setup flag to say that, hey, I'm good, everything's done booting and I'm now functioning. And then my user mod can swipe in and say, turn that thing off, you bastard, and it'll turn off Wi-Fi until you plug it into an external power source. That might be the way to do it. I think that is the way to do it. I think that's what we're gonna do. So I don't have to mess with the Deep Sleep user mod, and then when the ESP boots up, yeah, okay, so that solves our booting problem too, where it'll boot up with Wi-Fi on by default, and if you hit reset, it'll turn Wi-Fi back on. Instead now, it'll turn Wi-Fi on briefly, but then it'll check the pin and go, nope. Yeah, that's perfect. That is perfect. Okay, cool. That's how we're gonna do it. That's how we can do it. That's how we can beat this. We can win. Okay, hi, thanks everybody. I really appreciate you guys joining me on this Friday for a dumpy little stream where we have like 4 people watching and we get to do a little bit of programming and a little bit of physical stuff. We are a big step closer to getting Willow to be the blingiest, most light-uppiest dog on the block. And we are avoiding the trappings of doing like a Corsair light-up thing where we just hit RGB. Cool, very cool. I'm excited now. I'm excited we fully rekindled all of the stuff that we need to do with this. Dumpy stream, take it back. You guys know you love my Dumpy. Yeah, I really want to get it back into the original box, so that's what I'm going to aim for. But if I do ruin the box, we can always just expand it a little bit and print another box. And that way we would have just that little bit more, probably reach something like 300 milliamp hours of battery, which means that the estimates from today would be a little bit more accurate. But hey, anyway, big success. We turned off the Wi-Fi modem without destroying the function of the microcontroller. I will be back on Tuesday. Here's the end card. Exclamation point and bonk. You guys can catch me on not Blue Sky because it got fucking hacked. I got hacked, and then they started like posting weird shit on my account, which really annoys me because I was part of this exodus from Twitter of a lot of the hardware people who, you know, decided that trans people should be treated like people. Fucking weirdos on Twitter. But we all migrated over, and then we had this thing you click where 300 people will suddenly be following you. I don't have that anymore because my account got hacked and then blown up, and I haven't gotten a recovery email. I got my Reddit account back, but I didn't get the Blue Sky account back. So cool. I'm not on that platform anymore, so don't worry about that link. I'm only on Discord. That's where you can find me hanging out most days. So yeah, anyway, the Discord is pretty active though. We got a lot of cool people in there. I will be back on Tuesday, probably. I don't think I'm going to be back tomorrow. This programming stuff is kind of dry, so I kind of need to just do this on my own. I've set up a list of things that I want to get running. Maybe there's a very small chance that we go live tomorrow, but I will definitely be live on Tuesday. All right, and I'll catch you guys then. Take care. I'm not going to send you anywhere. I don't know who's online. I don't want to. We could do the little song and dance. There's very few people that I'm tempted to raid. I would love to be able to grow this channel. It's like just, I don't know. Twitch has been enigmatic in terms of growing, and I think my last bastion of potential growth is to get my ass on that front page. But to get my ass on that front page, we got to do something cool. Maybe if I jumped on the electric dog collar stuff in the wake of that stupid creator drama, we could probably have gone front page and like grown the channel huge off the back of a stupid joke. But I don't know. I gotta find something when we're doing stuff that's more interesting and fun, right? Yeah. Okay. I don't see anybody towards the bottom. You know, Carhole's doing its thing. Bike Man's on. You guys can figure out where to go on your own. And until then, something message that's a little bit hopeful.